Ominous Cube.
Hello, and welcome to the Saladcast on Sunday, the 4th of January, 2026. I'm your host, Dan Train. Joining me today, Zachary Burgess.
Suspicious cube.
And Robert Kemp.
Is that what it's looking for?
Yeah, it's looking for... The ominous cube is looking for suspicion to become a suspicious cube.
It's got to require the resource of suspicion.
And still avoiding Triangle Man.
Yeah.
Why would you want to be suspicious? It's like, I guess I said like to draw. Is it like a distraction cube? Is that what it actually is? It's like it needs to land there, attract all of the suspicion.
Yes, it's just like a Dungeons and Dragons item. Throw out the suspicion cube, and then everyone just has to go and look at it.
It's like it's the ultimate lure.
Yeah.
Well, it arouses suspicion in people, does it? The cube. Okay.
Was that all that the error cubes in DRG will ever turn out to be?
Probably.
Just a distraction.
It's funny because the cube itself is not suspicious, right? It's suspicious, makes people suspicious, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have the quality of itself being. I'm just saying that word works both ways, doesn't it? You can be suspicious and be suspicious.
Yeah,
But how do you say that? Two different ways to say the same word.
Yeah. I'm having a hard to be suspicious means you're attracting suspicion. So that means there is this ethereal entity called suspicion.
Right. But the person who suspects you is also suspicious of you.
Oh, you're suspicious of this suspicious. Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you mean now. Yeah.
Oh,
it's confusing.
ambiguous.
It's just
ambiguous cube.
It's a suspicion infection. It's the thing that is suspicious to start with. When you look at it, you get infected by suspicion, and now you're suspicious.
You become
as well.
suspicious,
Oh,
and then
mate.
you're suspicious. Can't be stopped.
This is the WoW blood plague.
Yep, exactly. Just look at a thing, and then you're boned.
I tell myself not to care, but I care so deeply. I require the knowledge. How is everyone? Apart, I ask as Zach comes.
Well, I mean, that's just normal.
Yeah.
Welcome to 2026, a very sus year.
Yeah.
Yeah. My, the outlook is not positive.
No.
I'm not feeling...
It's been about 2 days. It's already going very badly.
Yeah. Not feeling it already. But mainly because from Boxing Day onwards, I think we've all been a bit ill.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was ahead of you.
Yeah. Yes, you were. You got ahead of it.
I was technically ahead of Dan, but I didn't get it much. I whatever I got of it, I got it very minorly. But then,
Minorly.
yes, but then Dan got it quite a lot worse. It would appear.
Yeah.
And then Rob.
Well, I was wondering why my thing had
so bad. I was, yeah. It was food poisoning-esque, but we're pretty sure it wasn't food poisoning, right? Because no one else got it, and I didn't have the hot and coldness, the sweats or something that sometimes
shivery.
Yeah, I didn't have any of that. It was just my stomach said no, and to be fair, I still haven't regained all of my appetite from it all. I am not hungry most of the time.
We'll see about that.
Well, yeah,
After this
I can still eat quite a lot. As I proved Friday night, because Noam and I went out for a much overdue meal for just us, and
nice.
I ate a ridiculous quantity of steak.
Steak to claim.
Yeah, we had the butcher's block at Miller and Carter, which is like fillet steak, rump steak, a bit of ribeye, some brisket. It's lovely. It's a bit of meat.
Once a month ago, Miller and Carter.
Yeah, and it's a good thing we had vouchers. It's a good thing we had vouchers for that, because holy crap, that place is expensive now.
Really?
Yeah, it was really.
Well, it must have changed, right? Because I presumed it was aiming for a certain segment of the market, where it was a treat for,
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. The work. I got to be careful how I word this, but the working class treat dinner. But,
yeah, exactly.
But it's not that. It's not like going a harvester. priced. I guess I'd put in that camp. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's not that. It is a bit. It feels it does feel overpriced now, but like everything,
like
absolutely everything. Not to dwell on that too much, but it's like, boy, yeah, starting to feel the pinch these days, boys. It's getting trickier. Kids,
not going to be buying any RAM anytime soon.
Lucky we already got through the computer buying process at the last possible second.
I know. We timed it just perfectly, I think.
Nice one.
Which is
well, we timed it just perfectly on the second attempt because we got boned by the graphics card the first time, and then we were like, "Hang on a minute, get it in while the prices have come down a bit," and then it was like, "Oh shit, now the RAM's boned."
Well, in fairness, I was kind of boned when I bought, right? Because I bought at the 50 series launch, right? So I was kind of screwed then anyway. But so probably paid a bit more than the odds at the time for my card. But I'm laughing now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now no one can get a PC ever.
I'm in this state where I've basically instantly decided that I want a Steam machine, but I have no idea what the price will be, and also whether there'll be any supply at all. No idea.
I don't think Valve know at this point exactly what they're gonna be able to do. They don't have the power of the big boys, like the console makers and stuff, to make something at a console-like price anyway. And Microsoft are even stepping back from that whole argument, right? With, by saying that the next machine they're making is going to be more PC-like, thus don't expect a console-like price, even though it's them making it. And you'd think they'd be able to command a slightly more console-like price if they were going to mass-produce this thing.
It's a weird world.
It's very strange right now.
It's because they don't care. They just want to do their AI shit or whatever.
They don't care. Microsoft, really don't care anymore, and it still hurts.
It still hurts. Yeah,
I haven't turned my Xbox on since I got rid of Game Pass.
Yeah, well, there you go.
It's been a while since I've turned that thing on. Purposefully, I've accidentally turned it on by pushing the wrong controller.
But that's not necessarily even an indication of anything to do with Xbox. It's just you were playing other games.
Well, yes, it is.
You only play one game at a time, and then that occupies that long period.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. It isn't an indication of anything. I just don't have anything I would choose to play on Xbox right now. That's not to say I don't. There's a few things I will catch up on eventually, but I know what you mean. One of those Steam machines, it's what are they going to be? What is anything going to be? Apparently, this is getting. I hadn't put this down on the news docket, but consoles hadn't really sold all that well this holiday season because they're so expensive.
PS5's more expensive than they were last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Even the Switch 2 didn't really make a dent on its existence. Didn't even improve the sales numbers. Hard times. There's all more that people just like, well, Christmas is an expensive ass month. I'm not going to buy expensive ass presents.
Yeah.
Like a console.
It's a weird world. But I presume things still sell in that Black Friday time, right? Things, not games consoles, I guess, but
I mean, I
people
don't know.
seem to spend money then, don't they?
Yeah, I think there's I think it probably does spike, but not necessarily because the deals are there anymore. There's a sort of it's just on in your mind, right? It's like, this is the time, right? This is the time I'm going to go. Yeah, this is the time I'm going to go look for stuff, right? It's, just in case there's a deal, even if the deals that are around at the moment aren't really the same level of deals that they used to be. Not by a long time.
So I've started, while we're in the random section, I've started spending money in a category of things that I had stopped basically for years.
Is this Lego again?
No, it is not Lego. The limiting factor on Lego, well, the limiting factor on everything. I'm starting to think it's a really good thing that because I live in London, my flat is tiny. Because that is basically what is the break on me spending on hobbies and things. If I had a house and I was just me, I'd have a fucking model railway or something. Or I'd have and I definitely have, and this is the category, like I would definitely have like a room, practice guitar room, right? And then I would probably have multiple amplifiers and shit like that, you know, or a garage or something like that. But because my flat is this, and also with the Lego as well, there's only so many literal spots where I can put something. Yeah. Like I said, I got the Starship Enterprise, and they have made the lighting kit, so I'm waiting for that to before I put it together. But that's literally going to go like on top of a shelving unit. You know, it's like it's really running out of space. So like the flat's so small is the main break on these things.
I mean, that is quite helpful. That's a nice.
It is good. I think.
I mean, I kind of had the same thing. Like, well, in that I didn't. What I really should have done when I was living in my last 2 houses or whatever is just go, sod it. I know I don't have the space for it, but I'm buying it anyway because back then I probably would have had the disposable income, and these things that I'm about to say weren't as expensive as they are now.
Oh yeah,
and just straight up bought a pinball table because I've always wanted one.
There you go. That's what you would have.
But they are huge, and there was absolutely no way I could have justified them or convinced Gnome to allow me to have one in the previous. But the prices have just gone skyrocketed, even on old tables, right? That market has exploded.
I mean, the only way you could do that, Rob, is to sort of convert your garage thing. Or
even if I didn't convert the garage, it would be fine in there. Like, and just as, and you know, maybe not during winter, but during, warmer months, I wouldn't mind just going out to the garage to play a bit of pinball. That's fine. Like, and it keeps the noise away from Gnome, which you'll probably approve of. You know?
Oh yeah, sure.
But I would adore having a pinball table.
I feel like that could happen one day in the future.
Yeah,
but maybe once Miles is a bit older.
But they're just so absurdly expensive now, like way more than they were when I was.
Is it because they basically stopped manufacturing them, or
well,
and all the classics are now from the 80s?
But there's a hugely strong. I guess I suppose you're right. Like those old tables, there's never going to be any more of them, right?
There's no more supply.
Yeah. So the collectors have already got them, which is sort of
You'd
the
think
problem.
Some of them would want to sell them because they're so big. You'd think some people would occasionally want to downsize when they retire or something.
Yeah, I'm sure it happens, but I'm sure they also know how much they're worth, so they seek out the right person. And also they're a pain to move. You need equipment and vans, and getting them to your house is a mission in of itself, unless you know a man with a van. It's tricky. I'm not saying it's easy, and you've got to maintain the things, which also isn't easy. For which there is also even in the UK, there's a hugely strong network for getting hold of replacement parts and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but it is a do-it-yourself industry. Like you've got to. Which would be kind of cool.
Aspect of it might be quite fun.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It could be quite cool because there's an advantage.
I bet you'd be into it too, Zach. Right, with all your electronics.
Well, yeah,
stuff.
There's an advantage. Like, I'm not a particularly good solderer. I've not done a great deal of it in my time. Like, practically none, done a bit, to be honest. But I'm not confident that I know how to avoid a cold solder. Honestly, right? Yeah. That kind of stuff. I wouldn't be confident trying. I looked into how to mod an Xbox 360. We'll talk about that a bit later. But
that's a bit harder though. Isn't it?
Exactly. That looks really difficult.
I mean, the thing, yeah.
But the advantage of getting an old pinball machine, right, is it would be old electronics, and so big joints.
Yeah, much easier.
much easier to actually repair. So I'd be kind of,
I feel like this is at some point.
Love a table. I would so love a shit table. Just any table.
You're gonna have a pinball table and a pizza oven thing.
Oh, I will get a pizza oven at some point.
That's definitely gonna happen.
My mate Matt, who's been on the show years ago, he bought me a book called The Pizza Bible, and this thing is hardcore. It's not like a book of like pizza recipes. I mean, it is exactly that, but it goes in right at the start saying, read the first 20 pages first, like before you attempt anything. And I'm reading this thing going like, oh man, this guy is mental. Like he's the kind of chef that like, this is his thing. Like pizzas are his thing. To the point where he's got respect the craft tattooed on his hand.
Right.
Is
he Italian? Italian
American, I think.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
So he's hyper into
because
it,
I wouldn't listen to anyone who wasn't Italian or Italian American. That's
right,
fine.
yeah. But they're immediately going into like, right, you need these. It's a bit difficult because the book is written from an American perspective, so a lot of the things he's recommending I can't do. Sure. But he's like, you'll need these flours with high protein and high gluten content. You're also going to need to do this. If you're using a home oven, you need to do this. And it's like, don't bother doing it unless you get into it in this way, because this is how you make the good shit. And I'm like, wow, this is it. And I'm reading this thing going, I will give this a go. I'm definitely. I mean, I'd sort of planned on doing it this weekend, but kind of got bored. Did other stuff. But it's a commitment. And there's a bit of me that's like super into it, but also, am I actually ever going to do it? Because it's so hardcore. And would a pizza oven just make all that a lot easier? It's like, yes. The answer is yes. A pizza oven would make some of it quite a bit simpler, but. There's the dough prep, man. The dough prep takes ages, and he's going on about diastatic malts to add to the mix.
This is like the coffee snob type.
Yeah, it really
situation.
is. This is
like James Hoffman or
super
whatever.
Hardcore.
Pizza, yeah,
like sourcing your ingredients. It's like one of the things he talks about is like the mozzarella you should get. Like you should ideally not get mozzarella that's pre-grated, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is like in the UK, finding the mozzarella that's not the mozzarella. By that I mean like not the white mozzarella you get like in liquid pouches and stuff like that. Getting the pizza cheese variant of a mozzarella is really hard. Like I don't know where you'd get that, and also like the couple of sources I've seen mentioned are super expensive. Like you're talking like nearly £30 for like 2 kilos of cheese, and it's like. That's
mad. Be something in between here.
That's madness. Yeah, there's got to be a little. What I really need is for like Asda to have one of those moments where they accidentally overordered on the sliced mozzarella, right? And we're just selling it off for dirt cheap, and it's like that's what I need to happen. Yeah. So and it's talking about it's cool, but it is. It's a level above what I was expecting.
Dedicated their lifetime. It's one of those things, and it's similar to the thing that I'm talking about, which is guitar stuff, is that like, you can spend half the amount and get 85-90% of the way there. You know hugely. What I mean? But if you've developed that taste and you're into the hobby of it, then it's worth it. To you if you're a mental. And it's another thing where it's like, this is the cliche with guitar stuff, but I'd never heard this before, but it makes total sense. But I read the other day the phrase blues lawyer, which is like the stereotype of like basically like a 50-year-old white rich American who's a lawyer or an accountant or something who has loads of money and just spends all their money on guitar equipment and has never been in a band, which is basically me. Like, but you know what I mean? It's like someone who's dedicated, that's their like hobby, and they just have more money than sense, basically. And someone who is like young and talented and stuff could get more out of something cheap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I do know what you mean.
But it is also, if you have a boring job like you're an accountant, then it's nice to have something more interesting to think about, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm trying to think
like pizza.
I'm trying to think if I have anything where I'm that hardcore about it. It's like, I've got a lot of gaming stuff, obviously.
You haven't got that. Yeah, gaming I suppose would be it, but you haven't got.
But I don't know
actual life.
I haven't got the highest. I've got a lot of stuff, but I haven't got the highest end stuff. Even in gaming, it's like I don't have a 4K high refresh rate monitor on my PC. I don't have. I mean, I've got a nice TV, but even that's so far from top of the range now.
No, you don't. It's diminishing returns.
It is diminishing returns. It's like, I wish amps were cheaper, because that's the next thing I really do need to replace on my AV setup in the living room and things like that. But I'm not gonna. I can live with it for now.
Yeah.
I probably could go like steering wheels, right? I would really like a high quality steering wheel. Maybe
that's another example. But like people who are mental motorsport people.
Yeah, that can go so far down.
It's like very similar to the flight sim world, right? Where you can just go. There's basically no limit on how much you can spend on.
You can keep, and all that stuff is cool, but like, it's insanity. I've got.
But you have to,
I've
like,
got,
pick
I've
your-
got 3 steering wheels, one of which.
Right,
I can
well, that's a lot more than most.
yeah, exactly. One of which I can actually use.
Does that Microsoft one still work?
Oh, okay. Well,
Sidewinder one.
maybe that, did you experiment
No, I
with yours in
haven't
the end?
tried it again
Okay, because there's a story behind that, right? Because I would still use the Sidewinder if I didn't run into driver issues.
Yeah,
That
of
was
course,
on your
yeah.
Windows 10.
That was Windows 7.
Oh no, yeah, it was 7. Because my one was the one that was seriously worked on 7, whereas your one
Yeah.
didn't for some
So
reason.
the problem I
But with
encountered
those
was
ones-
it was a driver conflict of some description where it was the controller drivers that were limiting the frame rate of the game,
Oh,
and
okay.
that sucked.
Because I guarantee there's some maniacs out there who are writing drivers for these things. Like on
Maybe
GitHub or-
the thing is, it's
Yeah.
like the Logitech do some pretty good ones, standalone good ones. They have done for a long time, but there are like they probably don't care anymore about that stuff because there are so many like super hardcore ones where you buy the motor separate from the wheels, separate from the pedals, and it's all like you can super customize all that stuff, and it's like that's what they're into now.
I just want a relatively basic joystick to play Star Wars Squadrons, basically. But I can't
I mean, I've got yours.
figure out. Right, maybe I should just
Maybe
get
you
that
should
one
just
back.
maybe you should.
Yeah. I don't love that one. I honestly preferred the Sidewinder 3D Pro.
Oh, the Sidewinder was so good.
But that's like, yeah, they really are dead. Zach, did you have the fancier with the force feedback Sidewinder?
I had them.
No.
I think I had, because there was that weird, very slight upgrade they did between the first generation of the Sidewinder stick that still wasn't for the force feedback one. Because I think that's the one we both actually had. I don't think we ever had the actual
OG
original
one, yeah.
But yeah, I didn't get the. I
That
have
was the nicest
I have a
joystick.
separate force feedback joystick that I virtually never used. That's still in its box.
It was, the Sidewinder 3D Pro was a really excellent joystick. It felt that nice middle ground, right, between being like too dedicated to being a flight stick, but also the analog worked great. The throttle was in the right position.
Right, exactly.
It even had a
There's
POV
nothing out there
hat.
like that.
It was a great little stick. Yeah,
Like the one that you've got that's my one or whatever, it's fine, but it's almost too big and the throttle is like behind and I prefer it to be on the side, of course.
yeah, isn't it like right in front of the stick?
Yeah, it's really
on your
weird.
one?
Yeah,
Well,
some
I
of
guess
it
it's
is terrible as well,
ambidextrous,
yeah.
but like
Yeah, it makes it ambidextrous. But yeah, I don't like. And yeah, I occasionally try to play that Star Wars what's it called?
Squadrons. Yeah,
But,
I'd like to give
I
that
get
a go. I
tired.
never have.
I really struggle on the gamepad.
Really?
Because it just, I get my thumbs get tired in a weird way that they wouldn't on a gamepad in a way
weird.
that they wouldn't with like playing for hours and hours, playing Halo for hours and hours or whatever. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Anyway, but yeah, need a joystick.
I think I've got a copy of Squadrons through.
It's cheap.
on
It's
something.
probably free, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get that on Steam for £2 or something. Play it on the Steam machine. That's my plan.
Yeah.
Could plug a joystick into. I could probably plug that old joystick into the Steam machine. Probably work, right?
Oh, yeah, I wonder.
I don't see why not. Yeah.
I mean, it would recognize it as a controller for sure. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. That.
I think at one point I was waiting to play Squadrons until I got a VR set because I think it's
that's
VR,
also cool.
It's VR capable.
Well, there you go.
And it's like
Use the Steam frame for that shit.
Well,
Rob has a VR headset. He doesn't need to actually wait.
no, that's what I mean. I could just rig it to my Quest 2 now, and, and then use your stick, and then maybe it would.
I mean, did you
get
get
the full experience?
You never even got to do Dirt Rally in VR, right? You
No,
never tried that?
I haven't rigged up a steering wheel since I've had my
exactly.
Quest. So
That timeline didn't overlap. You played No Man's Sky in VR, the PC version. Well, actually, I guess.
Oh god,
does
that
the
would
console version have it? Probably.
Here's my problem. Like I like the idea of this stuff, but VR does make me pretty motion sick.
Oh yeah,
Can't
yeah.
actually handle
Like
it.
I think being in a cockpit of something helps. Probably more in a car that's on a level ground than in 3D space in the space.
Maybe.
sim.
Probably, yeah.
I need to give that because the only thing I've really tried that's like vaguely like that was Ballistic NG, right? Because that has a VR mode. And
That's a bit fast, isn't it?
That made me so ill.
That's gonna make you ill, yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking more kind of Gran Turismo or something,
Yeah. Yeah, I've still not tried that. Still not tried a wheel-based VR game.
That'd be cool. So yeah, the thing is guitar pedals again, is because the thing that stopped me was again space. I got years and years ago, I don't know, 10 years ago, I got the biggest pedal board basically possible and filled it.
Yeah.
And then I stopped. And the thing I don't do that other people who are into this hobby do, what they do is they have a pedal for a while and then they sell it and then they buy another one, and then they try different ones that way and they cycle through them or whatever. But I don't know. I usually research it and then I get it and then it's good. And then I have no reason to not, I don't very often like make a mistake and get a bad one. And then, and the other thing about guitar pedals, despite being electronics and stuff and like new ones coming out all the time, is they just don't go obsolete. They are absolutely fine forever, basically.
Well, yeah, because they have a very specific sound. And
exactly.
It's the same thing as synth heads, right?
It's exactly like that.
I can 100% get behind people who are proper synth heads.
Now that's an expensive hobby.
Yeah, boy,
oh my God.
It's one of those things that infinite money and infinite space to build a studio. Yeah, I would. Exactly. I think I would be in there.
Be well into it. So, and even in some cases, there are pedals that go out of production that you just can't replicate very easily. So, I actually have like a analog delay pedal, and it was basically the last of the stock of the chips.
Oh wow! Okay.
Because what happens is, so analog delay came around in like the 80s or something. And they have these like bucket brigade chips that like keep a copy of, the sound that you've made sort of in electronic memory. It's quite degrades very quickly, but it manages to keep it around to play it back. But by the mid to late 80s or something, that they had like a digital sampler and a digital delay, and that recreates it obviously perfectly. I mean, depending on the digital to analog conversion, but there's no limit on how long you can keep a digital copy of the thing around.
Sure.
So
hence
they
the modern
make
loop pedal, I guess.
Exactly. And so you can do anything with the digital ones. So there was this like period of time, but the thing is, of course, the way that electronic, analog electronic sample degrades sounds cool.
Yeah.
It's something that's undesirable for like any other application. For guitar pedals, like it really sounds really cool.
Yeah.
And of course, what happens in practice is those chips were manufactured in high volumes for all applications, but as soon as digital could do it better, they just stopped making the chips, right? Because the guitar pedals is like not high enough volume to make Panasonic worth producing the chips.
Sure.
So for like years afterwards, they just had a stock of the chips. And I think I have some of the last. It's like the smallest box you could get, but still with that Panasonic chip in, but that they had left, basically. So there's things like that you just can't do anymore. So it's kind of interesting that and on the other hand, like digital-based
effects. This is the Walkman problem in a way, isn't it? Like how no one can make a Walkman anymore, the size that Sony used to, because
they used to,
because no one manufactures that stuff anymore.
But in general, probably any time, because there are so many people into the hobby of it, like now is probably the best time to get, because there's a million different pedals, right, that you can get, and there's just a million different stuff. But anyway, my point is that I filled up the board and I was like, okay, I'm good. And I have it like conveniently in the living room, like it fits under the TV, what do you call it? Media cabinet thing. It's not really a media cabinet because the TV is attached to the wall, but it's like
I know what you mean. Like
it's where my PlayStation
stand.
is. And but like you have to pull it out, you have to turn it on, you have to get the cable and all that stuff. And I wasn't actually using it as much as I'd like. And there's a million pedals, and you can, I have a switcher unit, and you can do all this stuff. But it's like it's kind of a slight palaver,
right?
And so last year I got this like. And this has really improved. I got this like wireless system, right? So you plug one small unit into the guitar and the other into the amp instead of a cable. And obviously no cable is less annoying, right?
Sure.
And it's not going to sound as authentic, but I don't really care if I'm like practicing or whatever. And those have come a long way. And this one is really easy. It charges via USB-C or whatever. So I found myself just plugging that wireless thing just directly into the amplifier because I couldn't be bothered to get out the giant pedal board.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
So I've actually been playing guitar more, and stupid thing, but I figured out how to take the arms off my office chair because they get in the way. Yeah. And so I was playing electric guitar a lot more just with this wireless system directly into the amplifier. But obviously I miss having, some effects.
Sure.
And so now it has started
so you
that
just
I
playing
have
clean into the amp,
totally clean and straight direct into the amp.
Oh, interesting.
And so obviously you can't get the range of you can only play clean and you can't get any overdrive or anything.
Yeah.
So what has happened now is I've sort of said, well, there's a tiny bit of space on top of the table next to the amplifier. And I'm basically I can make a second pedal board, right? That is as small as possible. So I've managed to, so this is happening now. I have ordered an overdrive pedal, and I have got myself and this is the other thing is that this is an excuse to buy pedals in the category which is the same as ones I already have, Right. Because like the Memory Man that I just mentioned, there'd be no reason to get another analog delay because I already have the Memory Man.
Right.
But for this situation, I was like, I want an analog delay. So I've got a Boss analog delay. Yay. And it's really nice. So, and I've never been like a Boss. When most people think of guitar effects pedals, that's what they picture, probably. Those Boss colourful ones, stomp boxes.
Right.
You know the ones I mean.
I think so. I'm going to check just in case.
That's what most people, I think, would... And they're probably the most
I remember your
popular
Memory Man because I've seen it.
Oh, that's Electro-Harmonix. So Electro-Harmonix is my favourite brand, but probably the most popular worldwide or whatever since the 870s or something is those Boss ones, the Japanese.
Not Hugo Boss.
No, it's Roland Boss.
Okay.
Not Hugo Boss.
Wait, the same Roland or just...
Yes, probably the same Roland.
Interesting.
Yeah. But they come in a whole, variety of colours and stuff. And I never had a Boss pedal at all, even though they were the most popular ones. But I did get a chorus one years ago. The ones that what I mean, yeah. So now I've got myself an analog delay, which is the Boss one. But they've started doing these. Well, both the ones I have, they're like these fancy Waza Craft edition, whatever Waza
right.
means. You could probably tell me in Japanese what Waza means.
Nope, I cannot.
Okay. So I've got there it's basically a updated reissue of the 80s analog delay because they started making the digital ones and then they stopped making the analog ones for the same reason that I explained. So I've got that, and then I'm going to have an overdrive, and it's like, oh, well, how much can I squeeze? So basically, I've managed to break free of the restriction of the giant pedal board by basically just starting a new one, but in a tiny space. So hopefully, I'm still limited. But yeah, I've managed to
basically
cause
what you did
myself.
is you unlocked a second preset slot. And,
exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Now you got
a bit concerned, but yeah. But now it's like
concerned.
I'm gonna fill my flat full of new guitar pedals.
I mean, I gotta admit, I'm just yeah. There's a bit of, maybe my crutch in the same way. It's like as my original consoles start to die, it will be like, well, I've got to get a modded one of these now.
Yeah.
I've got to have another one, but I've got to have it modded this time. So it will be when if I get an OG Xbox or an OG or a modded 360 or something like that, like. Yeah.
Is your Xbox wired up? I can't
My
remember.
360 is currently wired up, yes.
Oh, cool.
I mean, I guess we could talk about that a little bit now. Boy, that was a pain in the arse.
Wiring it up?
Yeah.
Because it has that proprietary connector on the back that used to go to composite and then HDMI or something? Or?
Yeah, so the 360, I have a launch core 360.
Yeah, which has been refurbished how many times?
Like
for the Red Ring of Death? Four times.
3 or 4 times it had to go back for the Red Ring.
I love how they never gave you a new one. They just always stuck a bit of...
I guess you don't know because you send it away and it just comes back, right? Like maybe they did just straight up replace the machine at some point. I'm not sure. I mean, I have my suspicions that they did because of the whole... Do you remember the whole Xbox primary console thing? Right, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure my games. So in Microsoft land, you designate a console as your primary console,
right?
And if you do that, the games that are on it don't need online access to run.
Oh, right, okay.
And I'm pretty sure I got one back at one point that required me to be online to play the stuff I owned, suggesting that it was not designated my primary console. Obviously, you can then change that, but you can't change that too often. Anyway, yeah. So I have a feeling they might have sent me a refurb back at some point rather than my original console fixed. But who knows? Don't really know. It was kind of a mystery. We'll just send it. We'll send you a box. You send it. Yeah, you send us a coffin. You send it to us. It will come back, and it should work. That was the process.
And that happened 3-4 times.
Yeah, it happened loads. Mass Effect 1, I remember, was that. I remember when that game came out, I fired it up and that killed my Xbox. But that killed it in a new and interesting way. That wasn't a Red Ring of Death. That was...
Really?
I had an orange checkerboard problem where the game would start rendering an orange checkerboard on screen. It basically fried my graphics card, Mass Effect did. All the graphics chip inside the 360. But they replaced it in the same way, under the same program as Red Ring, so that was nice of them. So yeah, that was the outlier, but otherwise, yeah, loads of Red Rings. That thing is terrible. But yeah, so the back of the console has a proprietary connector, not unusual, I suppose, for consoles before that point. And then you could plug any. There was quite a wide range of things you could get for that port.
Yeah.
But none of them were HDMI.
Ever? For that model?
No, not on that model, no. So it just wasn't possible. I think you had to wait for the Elite before HDMI was included as standard on the units. So the launch core and the launch... Oh, I forget what it was called. It wasn't called the Elite, was it? Like, it was called...
No,
it was the core, and there was... Or maybe it was called the Elite. I don't know. Anyway, it was the black one, the Xbox 360 that was black. And of the original design was the first one to have HDMI. The expensive one with the bigger hard disk. And then the S's and the E's after that. They all had HDMI after that. But yeah, so my one doesn't have that. So the wiring process is pretty awkward. So I have to I'm currently feeding a VGA signal because I had one of those cables because I used to play on my PC monitor.
Yeah, that's what I used.
Yeah, so I'm currently using my VGA cable into an OSSC to convert it into an HDMI signal. But that doesn't cover sound, right? The sound can't come out of that. So in order to do that, the port on the 360 does have an optical connector. Like the little connector that goes into the back of the Xbox also has an optical port on that connector. So how I used to do it was then run an optical lead to my amp from a SPDIF from that to get audio out of it, to get surround sound audio out of it. But I'm not doing that here. Instead, the VGA cable has red-white RCAs that I conveniently have a cable to turn into a 3.5mm male jack, which you can then plug into the OSSC. So the OSSC combines that with the HDMI it's sending to the TV. So suddenly you have a complete HDMI signal.
Stereo, yeah.
In stereo, yeah. So that's how I'm doing it. But it kind of sucks because I think I don't know if this is a problem with I need to investigate it because I don't know if it's a problem with my Xbox or the VGA cable I have, but the images were so ghosty.
Oh.
Like really ghosty. And it was kind of ghosty back in the day. I do remember that as well. Yeah. It's not a new problem that my Xbox has developed or the fact that cable is shoved into the proximity of a billion other cables under my telly. Yeah, it just always was that. So the image quality still kind of sucks, which is annoying. The OSSE can handle component, so I'm tempted to try that to see if it cleans it up a bit, but I get the feeling my Xbox is just shit.
Right.
Which leads me on to the second part of the problem. The reason why I was rigging this up is because I wanted Milesy to play with Connect Party. I wanted him to have a go with
why there was a Connect under your TV.
Yeah,
when I visited.
It was because I was
trying to remember if that was just always there.
No. It's not been there permanently for the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's like has he never put that away?
Well, no, because it would have been replaced by the Xbone Connect, right?
That's what I thought.
2.
Yeah.
This is the Connect 1. But I was ringing it up because I thought you'd have fun with... for those who don't know, Connect Party was Double Fine's just toy that they made for the Connect. It's just a series of little experimental things that do fun stuff with the camera. It looks so dated now, running this stuff, just because of the quality of the Connect camera isn't very good and the recognition isn't very good by modern standards, not even close. But I thought Milesy would still have a bit of fun with it. You have to throw a Connect into the mix, which on, I think, non-S models and upwards, they thought about it and put a special connector on the back of the Xbox so you could plug a Connect straight into it. On older models, you need a separate power supply, and a combiner cable that combines the power supply and Connect lead together to go into a standard USB socket on the back of the Xbox. So you've got those cables hanging around as well. And they need a place to be. So you've got 2 power supplies for this thing. And by the way, holy crap, do you remember how big the 360's brick was? That thing is enormous!
Yeah, it was gigantic, wasn't it?
Like, oh my god, where am I going to put this? At the moment, it's sat on top of my Xbox, which isn't a good idea, but it's the only place I can put it in my setup because it's just so big, and all the cables are so thick. They're great, good quality cables. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna shake that. It's a good idea at the time, but nowadays it's like those cables are so fat and they don't bend. It's like wedging them in anywhere is atrocious. It's such a ball ache. And obviously because I've got so much stuff rigged up to my TV, having to rearrange it all so it actually functions was fun, and fit it all into the tiny amount of space. Anyway, I get that all working, and it turns out that my 360 and the Kinect, boy, those things are crashy as hell. That may be something that has degraded over time because that's running Connect. I don't know. I think some of it is Connect Party's fault. I don't think that was ever a particularly solid bit of software. Sure. Sometimes I've had the Xbox just crash while it's trying to calibrate the Connect. Or while if you've accidentally waved your hand in front of it and it thinks you're going into Connect control mode. I've had the Xbox crash doing that, which just causes it to lock up horribly. And there's no good way out of that on those consoles except to go up to it and push the power button, which is a lottery of itself. Sometimes the machine will turn off immediately. Sometimes it will go into I'm going to try and turn off state, but I'm really struggling to. And then it can take minutes. Literal minutes before it figures out how to turn itself off. Of course, you can just hold it down or pull the plug or something like that if you wanted to expedite that process. But I let it sit to see what happened, and it took ages. It's all a bit crashy, glitchy. Like sometimes I fire up Connect Party and it goes. It's the funniest thing to me. It's an installed game, and it turns around and says the disc is unreadable, and I'm like, oh, that's funny.
Oh, great.
Like the game was unable to load and the console thinks you're running from optical media still, even though it's an installed game.
Oh my God.
I remember this being a problem back in the day as well, but like I'd kind of forgotten about it. So I thought maybe like I had some stuff on the internal hard disk and some stuff on a memory stick, right? A Kingston memory stick that I always used to plug in. I thought, okay, maybe something's got corrupted there. I'll see if I can copy some stuff around and move stuff around. But the 360, as it turns out, was I'd sort of forgotten this, but like some things you just couldn't move, like between storage devices. It just wouldn't let you. It was pretty freeform about a lot of stuff, but some stuff just refused to move. And it's not always obvious that it's like you go through the OS and you'd be like, oh, I want to move this device, and it goes, yeah, cool, you can do that, and it'll start having a go, and then go, yeah, I encountered a problem immediately. You can't do that. But in the case of like Connect Party, I try and move it. It gets to about 20% and then goes, oh, I think something's gone wrong. And it's like, okay, maybe I have got a corrupted file somewhere. But then that would mean, in theory, I should still be able to download the thing again. Which leads me to the next problem. That launch Xbox doesn't have Wi-Fi.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course.
And I haven't got a wired connection under my TV.
So when did they introduce Wi-Fi in the black one?
I don't know, actually. I think that might have been introduced in the S. So I'm not sure it even made it to that Black Elite.
I mean, that was not... I mean, you know, nothing had Wi-Fi like that.
Well, I mean, the PS3 launched with Wi-Fi, I think.
Did it?
I think. Mind you, that launched PS3 and everything. But
yeah, and then Blu-ray player and shit.
Yeah. I want to say the PS3 launched with Wi-Fi like in it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my one has it. My one wasn't a launch one. Mine was a couple of revisions in. It was like my PS3 was after they'd taken out PS2 back compat. They'd taken out the chipset, which is annoying. But anyway, I had a fair amount of hard disk space, so that was all right. Yeah, so that's a bit of a pain. And it also means none of the Xbox OS works particularly great, right? Because that thing, I've got the last version of NXE that they released installed on that thing. So it's not got the blades, frustratingly. It's not got the first version of NXE, which was kind of interesting at the time. It's got the version that everyone kind of hated, where it ended up, right. Like the one that had more ads. But you can't, none of the game cards, right, when you go and say, I want to launch this game, it's like there's this lovely big space where the game graphic could be, but it doesn't load all of that because it doesn't store any of that locally. It all came off the internet.
Wow. So
that whole interface looks crap. I also can't run half of it because of the primary console problem. Like, I think in Microsoft land, your primary console is literally one of your Xboxes, not one of your Xboxes within a generation.
But just one of them.
Just one of them, yeah. So I think my primary console has moved to my Series X. Yeah, so unless I get that thing online, I can't play those games that are downloaded to it. So it kind of sucks balls.
Oh, that's really annoying.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's in the future, like a modded one would avoid that?
Yeah, I mean, a modded one would avoid all of this stuff because it wouldn't be able to connect to Xbox Live properly, right? You'd not without getting banned. So you would a modded one, you'd like the graphics and stuff would all be preloaded on what version of what hooky OS you're actually running on that thing instead of proper OS. So you just wouldn't care, the graphic side of things. You'd be loading up backups and stuff onto a modded one, right, and just running them straight, like without.
Right, yeah.
So you'd do it that way. It wouldn't really be a concern. So that's tempting, though. I've seen, I'd like an E edition, right? The last version they made, the small version of the Xbox 360, the really small one. I'd like one of those, but yeah, like with a chunky amount of hard disk space, so I could load stuff onto it and leave it there. And those I've seen that modded ones of those go for about 150 quid, so that's not a huge expenditure, right? Yeah. And I think it makes sense for me to buy one in than try and do it myself because it does look really hard to mod an Xbox. Although there are software-y hack methods now that, soft hacks that are temporary that you can do now on 360, right? So if you can find the demo for, I think it's Rock Band on Tour or something, and get a save file onto your Xbox or onto a memory stick somehow, and make it load that save game, it will instead activate a sort of hack that lets you temporarily run anything you want on the console. But it doesn't store any of that to the console. So you'd have to go through that process every time to get it in the hacked state, but then you can run whatever you want on the thing. So there's a way I could do that, I guess. I could probably experiment with that. I'd have to hook it up onto the internet to get hold of that Rock Band demo in order to exploit it, but there are things you can do that don't involve hardcore soldering. But
Right, yeah.
But I think I'd want the hardcore soldered one because it's just better.
Well, yeah, of course.
So anyway, that's been my experience with the Xbox. Marzi does like a Connect Party. He calls it the Photos game.
Oh, cool.
Even though the recognition is terrible, especially for Milesy, right? This was the other problem with the Connect. It's like, that thing needs so much room. And even that space between the TV and my couch in my living room is not enough room. Somehow.
Right.
Like
that's quite a bit of room.
It's a reasonable amount of space, isn't it? For the UK,
reasonable.
I guess. Yeah. But like, if I'm standing with my legs like brushing the couch, like that is just about as far forward as I can be within Kinect's sweet spot range. If I go any further forward than that, it starts having a problem. Which means it also can't see Milesy particularly well because the way the Kinect One auto calibrates, right? Because it can adjust it. It can do the nod, right, to figure out where it should be pointing, what angle it should be pointing at and stuff. But the way it auto calibrates is to basically cut our feet off. And Milesy's a little man. He's very short, so
right, yeah,
he's. He has to be very short. He barely registers on screen, and thus it doesn't pick him up half the time. So even though he enjoys it, it's like the pickup isn't particularly.
It's not really working that well.
No, it really isn't working great.
Okay,
I'd have to move the couch out of the way, get slight. Which is what, in fairness, I used to do in my last house. Right, I had a longer room. It was a longer, thinner arrangement, I guess, in the last house when I used to do this, and you could just push the couch further back.
Yeah,
from where I had
true.
it, and it gave it just about enough room to work. So, yeah. Connect is difficult, as it turns out. That's been fun. Photo game.
Same game.
Photo game.
But can he say news?
What news?
Well, there isn't a lot of it.
Rob managed to win our fantasy league at the last possible minute.
Did I?
Yes.
Oh my god!
Really?
No reviews. Well, not enough reviews came in for Ultimate Sheep Raccoon, which is my last game that didn't have a score.
Oh, damn!
So it all came down to that, and I needed that to score like 5 points, and then I would have won.
Yeah,
because it was that close. But
wait, so what did that count as for my counter pick? Does that come as a 0 then, or?
Yes, because it didn't get enough scores.
Oh wow, nice. I got so lucky.
Yep.
Close run race.
Wait, is that the first year I've won?
No. I think we've all won, at least. We've all won one, but I think we've all won 2 now.
We haven't been doing it 6 years.
Or have I only won one?
I've won twice.
I think you've both won twice and I've only won once. So I think that might be it now.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
that might be it.
Oh, surprise victory. I still don't really know. Like, I looked at that sheet a couple of weeks ago, and it was just like, I still don't really know how the numbers shake out in my favour. Your sheet looks better.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems weird.
Cool. Well, yeah. Hot news. I am the champion. In other news, not a great deal going on in the world of video games. Obviously, at this time of the year, Marathon will be launching, I believe, in March next year. Maybe. And with an interesting $40 price tag. Interesting because I think this is the same. What is this? Is that the same bracket Concord went in at, or did Concord come out at a full 60?
Don't compare anything to Concord. Concord is its own existence.
Well, yeah, true.
Doesn't mean anything about anything.
Well, it's interesting. Well, it is because it's interesting because it puts it in that same. Like, if this doesn't succeed, Sony will pull the plug kind of realm, right? It puts it in the exact same... hopefully the rules might be the same.
I don't think that's necessarily how that rule works. Like,
I mean, obviously not, but like I'm just I'm making a deal of it for news. But yeah, I don't know. It's that game has already had a fairly rocky process up to this point, not just in development or the art theft, but in the beta that no one was super hype about. So the fact that they're coming out with a price tag at all, I find mildly surprising. I thought they might have just tried to launch it free to play, but then I guess Bungie have had success with price tags in the Destiny land since forever, until that went mostly free to play, right? Still don't think the outlook is good for Marathon.
So who's going to pick it this year in the Fantasy League?
Yeah.
At least
That's the question.
fairly likely to score something.
It will score something. Yeah, it will get reviewed.
Well, yeah. Although it might not break 70.
It might. Well, who knows? The thing is like the recent thing to compare it to is Arc Raiders, right? Which is also an extraction shooter. Is doing gangbusters. Has done very well, and also launched with a price tag, right? Admittedly, a very low price tag. I don't know how it equates to dollars, but I think it's like 20 quid here, something like that. And that has done incredibly well. Mostly in part, I wouldn't say mostly, but like that has a lot to do with streamer support, right? There was an awful lot of streamer hype around it before it came out. Something Marathon doesn't have right now.
So, what do we think, us three? Is GTA 6 actually going to come out this year?
Well, that'll be the big bet on the Fantasy League this year.
Yeah. Well, it was last year, and I lost.
Well, it didn't seem like it was a big bet last year. It seemed like it was going to come out last year.
Same thing this year.
Yeah, you're right. It's like they've put themselves in the same damn position.
Well, it's weirder this year because they said November again. It's like, that's way late in this year.
They said May and then November, right? So they changed it once already.
I think it has to, but then I'm pretty sure I said the exact same thing a year ago. It has to, right?
I kind of think it has to, but
they've delayed it. So they're already in that cycle where it's like, okay, they've put hard dates on it now and they've moved it, like,
yeah, well, like more than once,
as opposed to like a theoretical. It'll be this year.
Yeah, multiple hard dates at this point.
Yeah, that feels like they need to do more of a stick the landing than before.
But we're not close enough. We're nowhere near close enough to the date that they can't change it for marketing reasons or whatever, or like that it's too late and they've ramped up all of the, insane.
No,
which is going to be, it's going to be mental. It was pretty mental for Red Dead 2, but like it will be on every billboard. It will be on every bus. You won't be able to move for GTA 6 adverts in
TV,
the end of this year. Yeah, TV. It'll be literally everywhere.
Was GTA 5 advertised that widely?
Pretty heavily.
I'm having a hard time remembering it.
I do remember seeing like giant, tube adverts, and
oh, really?
I remember being in Paris at the time and seeing it on the it was like. I remember Red Dead 2. There's this place in near my work in Shoreditch, which is now they've built a big hotel on there. By the time it was like an empty lot, and they basically like filled it with multiple Red Dead 2 billboards.
Huh.
I wonder if I can find a picture of it because it was really funny. But yeah.
All right. Expect the G-tocalypse. GTA.
Yeah.
Apocalypse.
Or maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't come out, or maybe it doesn't need it. Like, surely there's an element of like people just need to know when it's coming out, and that they don't need a.
Well, that's what you put on the billboard.
Yeah,
you put the actual. Once you've committed it to a billboard, then you definitely can't move it around. Well, unless you paste over the bit of the billboard with the date on it. Classic billboard maneuver.
I mean, what do you think the reason for the delays are at this point? Like, is it that difficult to get it running on consoles? Is that the primary?
No, the game is supposed to be finished. I think it's literally like polish situation.
How much polishing can you even do?
Oh, well, I mean, in a game that big, like,
yeah, but what does polish mean in that case? Like, you can't keep, adding more shit to it. You can't have polish where it's like, I'm going to add a bunch more of this random crap on Rob's desk to the render or whatever.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, it probably is just like they found a whole heap of bugs and we're like, we'd rather not release.
They
We'd
basically,
rather
I
not be
guess, they don't
Monzo.
want to do a Cyberpunk, right?
Yeah.
Which they avoided with Red Dead 2, for example, despite the insane scope of that game. It came out in a good state.
Yeah.
So they want to do the same. And I think the risk for them, it's worth it to delay. I think that's the calculation.
I mean, short of those remasters, Rockstar don't have a reputation for launching games that aren't pretty stable at launch. I mean, I want to say GTA 4 might have been a little bit problematic if I
Didn't have the best performance, but it worked.
but it ran.
Yeah. And they had open world jank in those days, like the famous Red Dead 1 model swap bugs and stuff.
The swing set in GTA 4 is a classic.
Yeah. But yeah, they're mostly gone now. But yeah, I think that's it. And also, there's no threat anymore of like, well, if we don't release next year, some rival will come out with a better looking game. It's like that's impossible now, right? So they don't have to worry about that.
It's pretty unlikely. They're almost competitionless. In a way,
pretty much.
Especially, with Call of Duty having a bad year. Like it's
well, I'm sure they'll try.
Well, do they have a bad year this year, not next year, where there's going to be another Call of Duty, presumably?
Oh, is there? We don't know. Maybe they'll take a year off.
Yeah. So obviously, that's the gamble.
Yes, I think it's a big. I don't think it will slip.
No,
at this point, and I think you'd be mad not to try and get it on your team.
Yeah, exactly.
Alrighty. What else is going on? Claire Obscure Expedition 33 was stripped of some game awards from the Indie Game Awards. I'm not going to get into it. It's not surprisingly not about the conversation about what makes an indie game.
It's nothing to do with it being indie.
It's nothing to do with that. No, it's the somewhat unfortunate case that the game did launch with AI assets in place, undisclosed AI assets inside the game, which were against the rules of the Indie Game Awards because they have an anti-AI stance, which is fine. I think that's perfectly acceptable to have that stance. It's just a bit unfortunate that Sandfall basically have turned around and said we know those those assets were never meant to be in the final game and they were subsequently patched out and replaced. But it's just unfortunate that those AI generated assets were still in the game at launch time. Still there. Yeah. That seems to be a growing trend for AI use, is like they'll use them as placeholder assets just to get a good. I get it, right? It makes sense, right? If you want something to get the feel for how the game might look, I guess it can help the graphic artists of different disciplines, right? If you're like a special effects guy, you might want to design your special effects around how the world and the textures and stuff look, but they might not be ready yet. So having a quick alternative to slap something in there, slop something in there. Before you actually have the finished assets. That makes total sense to me. But yeah, it's just unfortunate that they missed a few. I don't think this is a big deal. I think this technique is going to be what I'm actually kind of think this is how you should be using AI right now. I think that makes sense as long as you get a proper artist in later to either correct it, change it completely or something. I guess the risk with this approach is you're using the AI slop potentially to guide the artistic vision, right? Which might be wrong, right? You've generated something and you end up just replacing
that thing,
because
this isn't AI. But do you ever hear about that phenomenon of of film scores where people put in placeholder tracks, directors or whatever, which are music they like or something that fits, and then they end up that sort of combines with the scene in their head, and then when they're directing the composer, they end up basically matching pretty much the placeholder stuff with their composition. Yeah, it
ends up being something very similar but not quite. And I get it. It's tricky, right? Because if it does at some points, if it's licensed music, at some point it's well, just use the licensed track, right? It's If you just buy the license and use it, why not?
Yeah.
Like,
Needle drop.
yeah, do it. It's fine. Yeah, it's a little bit of a shame. I personally don't hold anything against Soundfall or anything like that in this case, but yeah, in some ways, fair play to Indie Game Awards for hardlining their rules and just being like, yeah, this is we said this and we're gonna stick to it. Fair shakes. And finally, the last bit of news I have is R.I.P. Vince Zampella, who unfortunately died recently after crashing his car. I think he was driving his Ferrari at quite a ridiculous speed, apparently, and things went wrong.
Pulled a Paul Walker.
Yeah, well, kinda, yeah. Which is unfortunate because, hey, Vince is kind of a big deal. He was pretty big deal in the landscape of video games. You know, we wouldn't have had the Call of Duties that we know. We wouldn't, for better or worse, depends how you feel about it. We wouldn't have had the Call of Duty multiplayer experience and things like that. It just wouldn't have occurred without him being about. Probably wouldn't have had Titanfall. We probably wouldn't have had Apex. You know, that kind of stuff. It's he's a big deal, or he was a big deal. Yeah, it's a bummer. In fairness, you know, if I'm being brutally honest, it's like I don't think we would have ever seen the Vince that we would have seen of old. Now that EA have control of all that stuff, you know, because he was heading up the Star Wars projects for a while. Like Jedi what is the first Jedi game, the newer ones? As Jedi Survivor was the more recent one, but I've forgotten the name of the first one.
Yeah, Outcast, right?
It was Outcast, Jedi Outcast. Yeah. Okay. For some reason, my mind seems to think that was one of the like really old like PC.
Oh no, maybe
games.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Fallen Order.
Oh, was that what it was? Just Jedi Fallen Order? Was that what it was called?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Outcast is like Jedi Knight 2, isn't it? Sorry,
right,
my mistake.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, so he was heading up those projects, I think, or at one point as well. So, you know, EA had already perhaps ruined the Titanfall 3 dream at that point.
Well before that point.
Yeah. That's all I got for news, really. Not a lot else is happening.
All right. It's time for what you've been playing. Bumper edition, slightly, I guess.
It's been a holiday. It's been plenty of time to play some games.
In 3 weeks also, between podcasts.
Well, yes, we took a break. Yeah, because, well, scheduling didn't quite work out for us. Let's put it that way.
So, Zach, you've had the usual amount of time.
Yeah.
It's slightly more. 1 week more. What have you been playing?
Incorrect. What have you been playing? Because we said we were going to do you first last time.
We did say it would be Dan time.
Oh, me. Oh, okay. Well, after more Rockstar discussion coming, yes, because I last time I was talking about trying to play some Red Dead 2 and being annoyed by the controls or whatever, and wondering whether Red Dead 1 was actually more fun. And then I saw that there was like a re-release of Red Dead 1.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I'll actually download that and see if it's in 60 frames per second and shit on the PS5, 4K or whatever. And so I played a bunch of that, and that has, and I'd forgotten, it doesn't have the model swap bug, but it certainly has open world jank. And I was like, oh, I'd forgotten about open world jank, because like Red Dead 2 almost doesn't have it. Like obviously it's a super complicated game, but like it's like the polishing I was just talking about for GTA 6 is incredible in comparison.
Physics holds together, doesn't it? A lot more than it does in the first game. Yeah,
Red Dead is pretty Wild West, as it were. And that game is cool, and I like Red Dead. But I played like 4 or 5 hours of Red Dead 1, enjoying it, and I was like, oh, I'll just switch back to Red Dead 2 for a second. And 5 seconds of 30 frames per second sucks compared to 60.
Right, yeah.
And then I ended up just playing Red Dead 2 because it's just the leap in. We don't have these leaps in technology anymore, but like the leap between those games is just insane. Like in terms of like the world and everything, and even like the storytelling and everything. Like I enjoyed the story in Red Dead 1, but like the way it's like written and stuff, it's almost like a prestige television series like Red Dead 2. Although it is incredibly depressing.
Oh, sure, it's a bleak ass story, but it's,
but like everything.
You're right, and it's only one generation of console, right? Because Red Dead was like mid 360 PS3 cycle, and Red Dead 2 admittedly was tail end, right, of the PS4 Xbone cycle.
Indeed,
because it released on PS4 Pro, right, which was the version I think we played.
And it's just mental, and that's like 2018, and we're talking like 7 years ago now, and it's like games don't look that much better. I mean, in many cases. No. But anyway, but I got more into actually playing it and like enjoying the story again or whatever, and the missions and everything and stuff. And I having seen, like, obviously it's smoother playing 60 frames per second and stuff, but actually like the Red Dead 2 controls, having played Red Dead 1, is like they're fine once you get. I think I just needed to. Because Red Dead 2 has that whole cores thing, and I forgot that Red Dead 1 just doesn't have it. Like, in fact, Red Dead 1 doesn't even really have health. It just has Call of Duty health where, you go bloody screen and then recovers.
Right.
Whereas Red Dead 2 has both. So the cores system, it's overcomplicated, but you have, like, the 5, like, circles, and they have an inner circle, which is the core, and an outer dial. And despite being a small real estate, it was quite a complicated system because you have like health and stamina and Deadeye. And then I think there's like one for the horse as well, or maybe 2 for the horse. And I still, having played it for hundreds of hours, I still get confused. Like the different items will like top up one or the other. So some of them, like the core thing, like if you have a full core, it like regenerates your outer stuff quicker or something or whatever. But
up to the core level, right? Is it?
That's right, something like that. And it's like that was too complicated. So I hope for GTA 6 they learn from that and dial it back a bit. But like once you get, and my main thing is like in Red Dead 2 I would like run out of Deadeye quite a lot. But I think the trick is to just consume loads of consumables like in an RPG, which you don't do in Red Dead 1. Like you don't need to because you just I don't know. It's more generous, I guess, with the Deadeye, or I don't know.
But in Red Dead 2, if you were going to do that, don't you have to actually like stop and eat in the middle of a
stop and eat the thing? It's not too bad, but yeah. So that's kind of that's still the case. But I just learned to be like, okay, well, I need to just keep eating, chewing tobacco, and to top up my Deadeye, and then if you sleep. You get your cores regenerated, so it's like it's actually not that hard to deal with. But it's just there's just so many systems in Red Dead 2. It's just a bit overwhelming, and you can ignore. That's the thing, you can just ignore them. Like if you're like a casual player, you could pretty much ignore this stuff, and you can still. It doesn't stop you from just playing the story missions if that's what you want to do.
Sure, yeah.
But obviously, you can go super deep into. I never got deep into the hunting or any of the stuff in Red Dead 2 because it just goes so deep. And I actually got like, would get annoyed because like in Red Dead, you kill a deer or something or, I don't know. And then you skin it and then, I don't know, you sell the skins or something like that. I don't even remember if it had selling the skins. I think it did.
Yeah, I think it did.
Yeah. But in Red Dead 2, it's like, you shoot the thing and then you get the pelt and then it's like, this is a poor quality pelt. And you're like, what did I do? And then you have to learn that you have to shoot
a specific area.
Yeah, shoot it in the head with an arrow, and then you'll get high quality. And then there's different grades of animal and all this stuff, and it's like, oh, fuck's sake. But I could see how people get like really into that and stuff. But anyway, I've just been enjoying the story in the world again, and I'm in Saint Denis, which is the city, which is an interesting change of pace. The
thing that always I remember about hunting in Red Dead 2 specifically, like was. You'd go out. It could take quite a while to track an animal, right? And then find what it was, and then you get there, and then something else would just kill your face. Like
because it's an open world, right?
Some random... other emergent event would get in the way. It's like, for the love of, I've spent so long tracking this ass down, and now I've been mauled by a bear or something.
So it's like, how do you reduce the frustrations? I guess it's like, which is a bad thing to say about a game where you're trying to have fun, I suppose. But like. I don't know. So it was a good experience I've enjoyed playing Red Dead 1, honestly, and it's I'll probably go back to it.
There's a bit of me that thinks I should probably go back to Red Dead 1 and not stop to pick up flowers at every instance.
Right, exactly.
So I can actually get the emotional moments resonate without the music stopping.
Exactly. But there's a lot more, yeah. I mean, it's a fine story. And the thing about, I was disappointed when I first played Red Dead 2, kind of stupidly, because I think they did the right thing, but like, I enjoyed the spaghetti western atmosphere of Red Dead 1.
Right,
I like that.
Yeah. It is more kind of tradition. I guess, what you'd think of the West more, isn't it?
Yeah. And in Red Dead 1, they start out, it is western in the sense of like more north, like Deadwood kind of Rockies kind of stuff, which is still a western, right? Like, because it's just happened that like when the Italian director wanted to make westerns, they chose like the farthest south because they could film in Spain and it looked like New Mexico or whatever. Right. That's basically why. And also in Spain, they've got a lot of Spanish-speaking extras that can be like Mexican. So that's why they've all set on the border or whatever. But there's plenty of like traditional westerns that are set, more further north than that. But of course, the story of Red Dead 2 is they constantly go east, right, and south. So they basically leave the west. Like half of like Saint Denis is on the east coast, right? It's like the equivalent of New Orleans, right? Which is not like by definition not west, right? So that kind of, I liked the atmosphere of Red, and I still like, and the music and everything in Red Dead 1 is more reminiscent by design of those spaghetti western soundtracks. Who's the Ennio Morricone type style stuff. Right. So that's cool.
And it's just like the I remember like the super late title card and something where it's just a single note guitar sting, right? You're just like, and you're like,
so good.
You're like, yep, all right.
Yeah. But yeah, I come to appreciate Red Dead 2 more, like as the years pass, I think, and a great game. So been playing that.
I know. Again, I mentioned Matt earlier, but he replays Red Dead 2 an awful lot. He's a replayer, right? He replays all the Mass Effects like on a regular basis, and
I guess I might be going this way
in his rotation basically. As well. But like, I think I mean, I love both those games. I thought they were genius, but like, there's a modern day me. I don't see myself going back to them. It's like I definitely see myself potentially going back to Red Dead 1 more than 2, actually. Like, maybe because it's a bit jankier, a bit lighter than 2.
Definitely lighter.
And I have fond memories of skinning something and Marston going, "What were you eating?"
What were you eating? Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, it'll be GTA 6, so who knows? Which could be a disaster. Who knows? But I have a feeling it's going to be a thing.
I'm super interested to just know how that, because those trailers look incredible, right? And it's like, is that what we're getting out of the consoles? It's like I'm super intrigued to see how it actually turns out. Like,
I kind of think on the evidence of what Red Dead 2 did with that generation, I think it's
plausible, but they are throwing around a lot of tech, right? As Digital Foundry pointed out, there's a fair amount of ray tracey features going on.
Yeah,
and it's like we've known that this generation of console and ray tracing not super performant. So
I mean, it will be a bit weird because, like, back when GTA 4 and Red Dead 1 were coming out, 30 frames per second was pretty normal. Like Halo was that you probably wouldn't put out Halo at 30 frames per second. Well, anymore, would you? I mean, they're not
going to. No, Infinite ran at 60.
60, yeah.
Everything since Halo 4 has run at 60.
At 60, yeah. So that just seems much more normal. So the fact that obviously GTA 6 will be 30, but it will be a lot more unusual. I think people will notice more than they used to.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it has been the proliferation of the option, right, to be like, do you want performance mode versus quality mode, has made that a thing where players can choose. So if players have been more used to quality modes in games over performance modes,
I really wonder if
won't
GTA
be
6
weird to them. Like this will just be another one of those, right? Like,
but a lot of people, I think, I don't know, just go straight for performance mode. And I wonder whether in most games, and don't even look back, and I wonder if GTA 6 will even have a Switch. Probably not.
No, it probably won't. I don't believe it. Or not on console. I don't believe it will have a Switch.
Yeah.
The only place, well, yeah, maybe not, because obviously the Series S, right, is the wild card, right? Because if they want to release it on Xbox, it's like they have to have a version that runs on S, which is going to be interesting. But yeah, I doubt that I have settings for those things. But also, like, the other thing is, like, when GTA 5 came out, it's not just that it was targeting 30, right? You could be sub 30 in that generation.
Oh, yeah.
And that wasn't super uncommon, and nor was it considered particularly egregious. Whereas nowadays, I think going sub 30...
See, this is why it's delayed.
Is quite a red flag.
Because I don't think it's going to go sub 30. So, because I think that's why that might be the reason it's delayed.
I think they'll really have to lock that in. Yeah. It's not as acceptable as it once was.
Indeed.
To do
which
that.
is a good thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, what will it take? I mean, to run at 60 in the future? We will see. But, yeah.
A bunch of chips no one has.
Well,
exactly.
I'm expecting good PCs to be able to run this at 60 without too much. I'm expecting my PC to be able to run it at above console quality at 60.
But
that's probably pushing
there'll be a PC version, right?
They haven't said yet. No.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's that. What else? Played a bit of Into the Breach.
Cool.
Played some Disco Elysium.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right. I always go back to the start of that game. I never get all that far through it because I always lose the thread.
Traits or whatever, do the different versions of the
pick different versions, or even with the same build, you can still make totally different choices and things. But it's just so, I don't know. It's it's such a weird situation to you decide to play because of course you have the cliche of amnesia, right? You don't know who you are, but it's you can just go, oh, I'm totally confident. Well, there's one line that we did even in the video that we did of the first hour of it or whatever, where you're like. And we're like, oh God, I remember I'm homeless. I don't know where my home is. And one of the responses is fuck it, hobo cop.
Yeah.
Right. And if you just lean into that and be like, I'm a hobo cop, whatever. And I'm super confident and I'm going to that's quite a fun way to go rather than oh God, I admit I have no idea who I am and what I'm doing all the time.
I mean, I guess you could play, the bleak character if you wanted. And I wonder how that plays out. But...
Exactly. Yeah. So... But it's just, I don't know, it's very interesting writing, and it's a weird world as well that they've sort of created. So, yeah, carrying on with that a bit.
Because I've got a copy of it, and I'm a bit of me wondering where I should if and when I get around to it, whether I just lean into the full madness mode, how
right, go full madness.
Yeah, always listening to the voicing, but one of the voices in your
inside,
head,
yeah. Depending on your build, yeah,
and just lean completely into that, and whether that's
listening to your necktie,
but what is the is it, it's a little bit like Mass Effect 1, right? Where there is there's very clearly you should play it like this the first time through.
Well, I don't know if it's that clear.
Is there one of those to this where if you pick up a slightly mental way to play it as your first time through, is it actually detrimental in some way, or is it this just isn't how this game works? Just go.
It definitely has elements of turned up to 11 of the KOTOR 2, you do the normal good guy thing and then you get told off, type stuff. By certain characters or whatever.
That's what I mean. It's are you hindering yourself in some way without knowing it? But or does it really matter?
Yeah. Does anything really matter? Yeah, it's cool. I've been playing it on the TV or whatever with the gamepad controls are fine.
Oh, cool.
So it's a bit more relaxed to sit around on the couch rather than click through it.
I need a calm game. at the moment. Yeah, I haven't got
It's
one on my
calm, but also existential dread.
Yeah, not that calm.
No, that's fine. I mean, by calm, I mean like something that isn't like just like an action game or blazing my eyeballs. It's like I'm in.
Yeah.
I need a. I haven't got one of those in rotation at the moment, so it's that's not Balatro.
I should probably do Pentiment or whatever at some point, like you did.
Man, I never finished Pentiment because I was playing it with Gnome, and Gnome kind of fell off it when we got to the second act or the second main act. So yeah, I never really saw that through, which is a bit unfortunate. But I did like it.
Yeah. I think that's me.
Play a LucasArts game or something.
I've got Grim Fandango.
You've always got Grim Fandango.
On the Switch. It works fine.
Yeah.
What a classic. That's still like top 10 game for me. It's Grim Fandango, for sure.
Understandable.
Love it.
Style alone carries it up to there.
Style and characters and just everything about it is great. All right, Zach, you better go.
Yeah, I guess. Well, the first thing, even though it's been like 3 weeks since the last podcast when I finished Metroid Prime, there's still some shit and even though I wrote notes, there's still some shit I wanted to say about Metroid Prime 4. But these couple of things are things that I thought was like interesting in a sort of development, possibly, or like game design kind of way. One of them's still kind of an error, but the other one's just more of an interesting thing.
An error.
Well, the game design error is so you have the.
Zach's taking a hard stance on this one. It's like, no, you did it wrong.
Well, it's these kind of things that I like think are interesting from game design perspective because it's the kind of thing that you would pick up if you were really good at game design, probably. Not that I'm necessarily saying these guys who made this were bad, but they might have let this one slip, or it was something that like a tester might have picked up, but it would be far too late to change.
Right.
Because the problem is that, so you have the green energy, the mysterious energy that is fucking around with this planet, and it appears mainly as those green crystals in the desert, but there's also like a factory where they're like extracting and refining it and whatnot. And then the other thing you have is Samus's scan visor, where when you turn the scan visor on, like the colours wash out and it puts that highlight on stuff you can scan.
Sure.
But the trouble is that the highlight from the general scans in the scan visor is green. So when you're looking at something that's glowing with green energy through the scan visor, it's impossible to tell whether you've scanned it or not. Because it looks exactly the same.
All green on green.
It's like,
That's rather unfortunate.
you'd have to pick that up either like right at the start of design to think like, we're going to have this glowing green energy and therefore the highlight for things that you should scan should not also be green.
Or there should be...
Or
the filter effect should make it still obvious that you can see the green outline of the scan visor.
Maybe.
Surely there's an easy way to deal with that, like filtery wise.
Maybe. But it is just weird that the other option is like that would be something that a tester would pick up, but by the time that is something you'd be testing, it's probably too late to change that kind of design choice.
You would have thought that would get picked up early. If anyone picked up on it.
Well, it depends when they designed the like green energy factory part level, basically. Because you could have had the green scan highlight in all the other areas where it's not green as much.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I thought that was a funny, interesting, like, weird design error, where it's like, you made the ones, you should have not make the green energy not green, or make the scan visor not green. Surely it would have been like, make the scan visor not green because it should have been purple, because of the psychic visor.
Yeah, I guess.
Because it is the psychic visor.
Right, yeah. Or maybe, like, could they have just augmented it with having a little symbol next to something?
Well, I mean, go back to Metroid Prime 1, where it's just like that weird orange square that highlights everything you can scan.
Sure. I mean, it worked. It's not as fancy, but it worked.
Although, arguably, in Metroid Prime 4, of course, it doesn't actually matter very much, because getting 100% scans is much easier, because it only cares about stuff that goes into the, like, scan log page, rather than literally everything.
Literally, right, I see. Okay, well, that's a sensible choice.
Yeah. And that also makes it easier, because when you look at the scan log page, you can kind of see where the gaps are. Particularly in the creatures list, where it's like, you can see, like, here's all the lava creatures, and here's the one gap that's in amongst the lava creatures, so therefore it must be a lava creature I haven't scanned.
I must have forgotten something.
And then the other weird design thing, which is more just interesting and not like an error, but like the last dungeon boss, not the last boss, you fight it and you scan it and everything, and it's just a normal boss as far as you're concerned. But then right at the start of the game that you can go back to as you go back to home base, which is in the first zone, basically, there's a room that has a like giant hologram projector, basically, and after you've defeated the bosses, you can go back to that room and like switch it to the boss you've just defeated, and then that reveals some more lore basically about that boss that's not in its normal scan data from the fight. And so it's like, well, basically, because the bosses are all like infected or like Metroided or whatever, like the scan lore you get from this room is like what they were originally like what was this animal originally like before it got all fucked up and angry, basically, because that's basically all the Metroids do to them, is just make them angry. So you go back to that room, but the last one of those dungeon bosses, when you go back to that room and switch it to that slot, it's a completely different thing in that hologram, because the boss that you actually fight basically killed that original boss in the story, essentially. So you never see the boss that was originally controlling that zone. You see, like, the new monster that basically killed it. And that makes sense from the story, kind of. But I was like, is that actually basically a remnant of the older version of the game? Like, did they make that original boss... Was that boss that you see in that hologram the actual original boss of that zone? But then when they did the rebuild, they made this new one. Because it also maybe it also maybe implies like a Wind Waker situation where they cut the length of the game. Like,
right, so you were going to go.
You were going to fight that boss, and then the new last boss would have been further, like another dungeon away or whatever.
Right, yeah.
But because they had to move it up to this dungeon, they were just like, oh, we'll have this hint of the other old boss. I don't know. I thought that was
it's kind of cool if that's true.
Yeah, kind of an interesting choice. Where it's just like it sort of does make sense from the story context, but it also has this weird possibility of just being a weird development, joke almost, or hint.
Or why would in some ways why would you go to the effort of including it in the first place? Like,
yeah, but that was quite strange. Anyway, that's Metroid Prime 4, and now I'm actually done talking about Metroid Prime 4 until Rob plays it.
Until I play it,
and then we can talk about it again. And then the next thing I played was almost exactly a year away from the last time I played it. I went back to Factorio.
Right.
It was almost exactly a year. It was like 2 days early from being an exact year break.
I'm impressed you made it that long.
Well, yeah, I had been thinking about playing it for the last 3 months and then just didn't.
It feels like you never stop.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I kept saying about how I was thinking about going back to it, but I kept remembering my save and the problems that I was in the middle of solving or whatever. So what I first did was I started a new save to get that stupid artillery achievement that I also talked about, where you're not allowed to kill an enemy base until you have artillery to do it.
Right, yeah.
Which means you have to get to the whole second volcano planet to unlock the artillery. And I was like, oh yeah, that doesn't seem too difficult. And I was originally planning on doing that in full vanilla settings, because when you're doing the map generation, there are certain settings the map generation will let you change that don't disable achievements. And it's actually achievement specific. If you change a setting and then try to start the game, it will bring up a pop-up that says these achievements will be disabled from changing this setting.
Interesting. Okay.
So it kind of knows what not to allow you to change, basically.
Yeah, it's nice that it warns you.
So yeah, I was looking at that. I was like, what can I change to make this potentially easier? Because obviously you can't change any of the enemy settings, since this is a thing that's based around the enemies. If you could just change the enemies to be on peaceful mode so they never attack you, then that would make that achievement well easy. But they don't let you do that. And they don't really let you do much. But the one that I figured out that does make it easier if you jiggle the map settings around a bit and maybe spam regenerate the seed a few times to get lucky, but you can basically change the amount of water so there's more water and less land, and then because of the way the enemy bases are basically spawned last, if you get lucky with the layout of water versus land, it basically removes a lot of the enemy bases that are near to where you start. Because normally you change the starting zone setting, which just pushes the enemy bases away from where you start, basically. So you have a larger area before you start fighting enemies. But you can't change that setting. But you can sort of almost fake that setting by using the water to, like, eliminate the bases for you. By having the water just be where the bases would be spawning if the water wasn't there. So I did that, and I also turned, like, the resource richness of the starting deposits up to, like, maximum, so I never had to go and get more resource deposits and therefore have enemies to be in the way. Because it's like, I can just use the ones that you start on that are always going to be clear.
Right.
So I managed to get that achievement done in not a very fast time. And weirdly, not a very fast time, because when I actually went back to my actual save and was like, okay, I'm ready to load this up. Turns out I was, like, barely 10 hours away from the end of that game in that save.
Oh, okay.
There really wasn't much more to do. It took me way less time to finish that save than it did to get this other achievement. But yeah.
You say only 10 hours.
Yeah, it was only 10 hours.
Only 10 hours.
But yeah, I went back into that save. And as I mentioned to Rob the other week, it was like, when you come back into that save, I was like, it's like looking at old programming that's badly commented, where you're just like, this all works, and I don't really know why any longer.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of random variables. So it's like, why is this train station set to -1A? What does that mean?
Can you
put comments?
Yeah, I was about to say, can you throw Claude at
You
it?
can kind of put comments, yeah.
Yeah.
You could put you can put these little weird display screens that basically you can just put a text file into almost. But they're physical things that you put in the world, funnily enough. But yeah, I went back in there and I was like, I don't know how most of this works any longer, so I'm just not going to mess with it. I'm just going to, all the stuff that's already working, I'm just going to build next to it rather than trying to integrate more. But it turns out I didn't really have that much more to do, so I didn't need to worry about all the stuff that already existed. I just hack this together with add-ons to my factory rather than trying to rebuild anything to get the last bits of tech that I needed, which was really just the railguns. Well, and the quantum chips to make the railguns, I guess. The quantum chips were probably the thing that I was worried about when I stopped that save, because they're made of basically the special resource of each of the 4 planets together. So you essentially have to ship all those resources to one place to make the quantum chips in the first place. And the quantum chips can only be made on the ice planet or in orbit, like, of any planet. So what I ended up doing was, because I was already shipping all those resources to the starting planet, I was like, well, I could make the quantum chips on the ice planet, but I could also make them in orbit above the starting planet instead. So since I was already shipping most of the stuff back to the starting planet anyway, it was like, that's fine.
It's a stupid question, but how does orbit look in Factorio? Because, like,
it's just the same as
really, it's
like
just it's just another plane.
Yes, it's just a plane,
right? Yeah,
with a black background,
right?
Essentially,
fair enough. You have to build land on it, or platforms
you
on
build
which
the platform.
to build. Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I'll build these quantum chips in orbit. But the thing about that is that, like, there's one kind of logistical item that's missing, which is like platform to platform transfer, which makes it kind of dumb. Because, like, I'm launching a rocket from the volcano planet with, like, special resources onto a platform. That platform then flies to the starting planet, then it orbital drops that stuff down to the starting planet, and then launches it another rocket back up to the other platform.
Oh.
It's like, there should really have been another step where you could just transfer between the platforms directly. That would make that way more efficient.
Out the planetary step.
But it didn't really matter because all my rocket systems were automated anyway, so I was just like, yeah, I could just tell the quantum chip platform to just request those items and it'll automatically launch all the rockets that it needs to do for that, even though that's super expensive resource-wise, but at this point, I'm not really worried about resources. Also, I'd forgotten that I'd actually got quite deep into leveling up, like, the infinite resource, the infinite technologies that, like, give you reduced resource consumption, essentially. Like, it's really it's a productivity bonus. So I had, like, plus 50% to rocket part production. So it's like every 2 rocket parts, I get 1 for free, essentially. So it's like, once you level those up, you can really start reducing the amount of resources you're using. And that, like, cascades down the chain as well, because there's other ones where it's like, research productivity for plastic, research productivity for steel, research productivity at the mining drills, and then get the upgraded mining drills that also have inherent increased productivity. So yeah, and once I did that, got those quantum chips, got the railguns, then had to design the like final space platform to fly out to the edge of the solar system. Because as I mentioned the first time I was talking about the space age thing, is like the solar system in this Factorio solar system is completely filled with asteroids. It's like when you're in space, as soon as you start moving, it's just like dense with asteroids. It's very not realistic in any way. So what the actual problem is, like, as when you're flying through space, the asteroids are constantly hitting you if you're not shooting them. So you have to equip your platforms with guns to clear out all the asteroids as you're driving around, which, you know, the obvious way to do that, and the way the game kind of tells you to do it, is to build all the ammo on the platform by using the grabby arms to pick up the resources out of the asteroids, manufacture all the ammo on the platform as it's moving, and therefore you're essentially just making the ammo from the things you're shooting.
Yeah.
But that gets more complicated as you have to do the more complicated types of ammo for the bigger asteroids. Because, like, the small asteroids, it's just regular gun ammo, which in itself is kind of ridiculous. That you're using, theoretically, like, gunpowder projectiles. I mean, there's no gunpowder involved in the recipe, but it's sort of implied to shoot asteroids. And then the second tier of that is rockets, which is not that much more complicated. It involves, like, you making actual explosives at that point, which is like, well, basically the gun ammo is made from the metallic asteroids, and then the rocket ammo is made from the carboniferous asteroids that have, like, sulfur in them, so you can make the explosives, essentially. And then the third tier of that is the railguns for the really big asteroids, where the actual ammo part of that isn't that different from the rockets. It still uses the explosives and then, like, some of the metal as well, obviously, because it's like a slug or whatever. But the bigger problem with that is obviously the railguns use a shit ton of power. So you have to basically have a fusion plant on top of the platform as well. Although that's really just almost a one-time thing if you're only worried about finishing the game, because obviously fusion power cells last fucking forever, even with the huge power drain of railguns. So you just have to figure out how to build them on the ice player and launch them up to the platform in a big enough supply that it will last until you get to the end of the game. But yeah, then it was just a matter of, like, figuring out how to design the platform with the railguns, like, covering all the angles, essentially. Because the railguns have a limited, like, arc that they can shoot at, rather than just be, like, the basic turrets and the rocket turrets are just a circle all the way around. They can just shoot wherever. But the railguns only have a limited angle arc, and also, obviously, the railguns have basically friendly fire. You can't build anything in front of them. So yeah, you have to, like, arrange the railguns in a sort of fan spread at the front of the ship where you're going to be seeing most of the asteroids. But you also need a few down the sides for the asteroids that, like, drift in sideways that might avoid the front railguns. But yeah, I managed to get that done and trundled this ship very slowly, because that's also, like, if you're moving slower, you encounter the asteroids slower, so you have more time to make the ammo, basically.
Right, yeah.
So I just trundled it very casually through this wave of, like, super dense asteroids all the way out to the edge of the solar system. Which is, then you win the game. And then...
Do the asteroids sort of, like, if you've carved a path, like, does the path remain carved?
No, it's just, like, they spawn.
Right.
That's how it simulates you moving, basically, because you're not really moving, obviously.
Right.
The asteroids are moving. But yeah, you get to the edge of the solar system, and then I did that upload to the Galaxy of Fame thing, which isn't, in fact, as complicated as I thought it might be. What it actually does is upload basically a screenshot of your map. So the map screen, which is, like, you know, icons and, like just colored pixels. It doesn't actually, it's not like a screenshot of the game, it's like a screenshot of the map, mini-map, basically, of the game. So that's kind of interesting to look at in some ways, especially if you go and look at other people's ones. It's like, oh, well, how much can you tell of what they were doing? Because you'd obviously have to know how the game even works to really interpret what's going on. It's maybe most interesting to look at the platforms, because it takes the mini-map screenshot of every platform as well. So you can see how they've designed the different ships, basically.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, taking one surely isn't enough. You'd have to take...
Yeah, it does every planet and all the platforms as well. But yeah, looking at the weird... Because obviously there's no aerodynamics, so a lot of them are just big rectangles with an engine at the bottom.
Of course.
But that's so... I find it weird that a lot of them have a lot of wasted space, because space platform, the actual object, like the base platform that you build on, is not really cheap. And it's also not very, like, space efficient launching it in rockets. You only fit, like, 50 in a rocket, which isn't that much space to build on. So when you have these huge squares and, like, half the area is just empty, according to the minimap, I'm like, what a waste.
It's quite odd.
Also, because of the way the asteroids spawn from the top of the screen when you're moving, it's kind of inherently better to make your ships thin, because it reduces the, like, zone of...
Right, yeah, the impact zone.
The impact zone of your ship. So my ships are all quite long and thin, but then you do have to defend the sides because of that sideways drift asteroids that I mentioned, which can be a bit awkward as well. So maybe in some ways a square is better. Or maybe it's even better to just completely invert it and make it a wide flat line. Because then
demolish everything.
You'll guarantee that you'll kill all the asteroids and there's no sideways drift to worry about.
Flatten everything in your path.
I mean, building the wide flat line is actually better if you just want to build a ship that harvests asteroids, because then you're maximizing the number of asteroids you get. So if you're building as platforms that's only job is to, like, scoop up the asteroid resources and then, like, ship them down to a planet, then build a long, wide, flat one.
I mean, is the compromise just a triangle? Like a wedge shape?
Maybe, but that doesn't really inherently make it any better for, like, shooting the same area. In fact, in some ways, it almost makes it more awkward to load the guns because of the way you have to have the belt next to the gun to put the ammo in.
I was just wondering, it's like, does it, like, equally able to attack the front and the sides in a sort of wedge formation?
Well, yeah, kind of, I guess. It would cover it all the way down. But yeah, I finished that with the upload to the Galaxy of Fame thing and went and looked at that for a while. Looked at some of the other people's finishes. The trouble with that is that it doesn't seem to always load all the stars on the Galaxy of Fame. Like, when you finish the game and you upload it, it gives you, like, the direct link to your one, basically.
Oh, okay.
So you can just click on that and it opens the webpage and that's your upload. But I couldn't find my star from, like, nothing. Like, if you just open the Galaxy of Fame fresh on a webpage, from the webpage, I couldn't find my star that way. And I think that's maybe because they're, like, sectioned off by... Well, it has filters for, like, upload date and that kind of thing. But I think it's also maybe, like, it's just, like, instanced almost. Like, there's not every star is on that map at the same time, basically.
Oh, interesting.
Or maybe I just couldn't find it because it also seems
propagation delay? Had it not just quite made it there yet? Or?
Maybe, possibly. Because the other thing is that it also seems to... The further away from the centre of the galaxy that the stars are, the, like, dimmer they are, which kind of makes them harder to see, especially when you filter a lot of them out and it's only, like, one tiny pixel in this otherwise black screen.
Right, yeah.
So maybe I just wasn't finding the one I was looking for directly. But yeah, I finished that, and then I did briefly consider thinking about continuing that save after the end to see if I could just use that platform to get some of the achievements for pushing even further. Because you have to go to what they call the solar system edge to end the game, which is just like you need the railguns because there are the big asteroids to actually get there. But then there's another step beyond that, the Shattered Planet, which presumably is where all these asteroids are coming from. But, like, there's achievements for progress towards that, but not necessarily getting there, because it's just like, there's nothing actually there. It's just a goal, essentially. But there are, like, 3 achievements for, like, 30,000 kilometers and then, like, 60,000 kilometers. And I was like, maybe I could just send this ship that has the railguns out there and see how far it can get.
Yeah, just leave it for a while. To
see how far it can get into the really dense asteroids. But those the Shattered Planet asteroids are like a special kind of asteroid as well that have like double the health as well, so they actually take like 2 railgun shots instead of 1 to break. So I don't know if that ship even would be able to survive that long. And then there's also like a post-game tier of science that you get from researching those Shattered Planet asteroids as well, which means you then have to design a ship to be able to survive, to go out there, to shoot them, to break them into parts, then pick them up onto the ship, and then bring them all the way back to actually be able to research them.
Jeez.
So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to continue that save or start yet another one. Well, actually, I already did kind of start that one. Just didn't get very far into it. Didn't get off the first planet in that save again yet. So yeah, I played some Factorio. But the main thing I played for most of the last 2 to 3 weeks was a shit ton of Minecraft.
No, what?
Minecraft?
Yep, it's modern Minecraft time again.
What happened to, what's the one?
Vintage Story.
Vintage Story.
Yes, I didn't continue my Vintage Story save into the second story chapter or whatever. So that didn't continue, but Minecraft has come back in the modern single and multiplayer. And I'm actually,
Is this Java Minecraft?
yes, because it's modern. Because you need Java for mods.
Yeah, that's never going to change, right?
No,
They'll
probably not.
Yeah.
But yeah, and funnily enough, even though it started in multiplayer with this one mod pack, by myself on a solo save, I'm playing a completely different mod pack as well. So it's the most Minecraft possible. I mean, arguably you could say that most Minecraft mod packs are kind of all the same at this point, because they're most of the popular ones are built the same way, of it being like progression, basically. Like you start in the Stone Age and then you get to the Steam Age or whatever, and like there's a tech progression via integrating different parts of different mods. So yeah, both of these kind of have that progression. It's just that one of them is, the one we're playing in multiplayer is in a more modern version of Java Minecraft. So it has some of the more modern mods like Create, which is the one which is the sort of physical industrial one with like belts and like gears and stuff. And like moving block structures. So the actual blocks can rotate and angle and that kind of stuff. So Create's quite popular. And it's a pretty ridiculously implemented mod for Java Minecraft, really. Everyone thought it was pretty amazing when it first came out, like however many years ago that was, like 5 years ago or something. But yeah, that mod pack goes through like Create in the early game, and then it gets into like immersive engineering we've just started, which is like Create, but not quite as structurally based. It's still machines that are multiple blocks, but they are just like a machine rather than the Create ones, which are made of individual parts, more or less. So we've been getting through that, and that mod pack also...
Do you mean it sort of transitions from one to the other as you progress?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that mod pack specifically has a lot of basically like, you have to get to a specific item in a mod pack, and then that item basically becomes the base item of the next mod pack. So in Create, it's like you start with the like brass, I think is the thing you have to get to go into Create, but then when you get to the end of the Create part of this tree, then it's like you're making the like steam engine mechanism, and then that steam engine mechanism is used in the first of the immersive engineering buildings or whatever.
Right.
So that's how they kind of manage progression that way. But that mod pack also maybe goes a bit like, it maybe leans quite quickly into making things easy for you. Like we got flight basically almost immediately, or a kind of flight. It's not quite like... Because Minecraft has those glider wings, the Elytra, which are like, they're a glider, and you can use a firework rocket to propel yourself, as seen in Smash Bros.
Yeah.
But the mod version of that we have is basically like a cloak that acts as wings, so you can double jump and then like flap them to go into glide mode, but you can only flap them like 8 times before you have to land. and it doesn't work with the firework rockets. So it's like the Minecraft grinding, except slightly more limited, but also not limited because it's free, essentially. You're not burning any resources. Because in Minecraft, it doubly sucks because the elytras have durability. So even as you're flying around, you're expending the durability on the wings, rather than and then if you're using the fireworks, obviously you have to make them as well. Double resource expenditure. Whereas this cloak is basically free, so it's like you get that pretty quickly in this mod pack, and you also get a shit ton of health really quickly in this mod pack because it's also using the like extended food mods that give you a million different types of food you can make. But then there's also a mod which makes it so as you eat more different foods, that upgrades your health, basically. So once you've eaten like 10 different things, you get an extra heart of health.
Oh, I see.
On top of default Minecraft health.
Gourmand equals health.
Yes, pretty much. But that makes it very easy to basically get a shit ton of health really quickly, because you can eat basically every raw food. Like any plant you pick up and just eat it immediately, and then you're already upgrading your health.
That doesn't sound like a good idea.
Well, in some cases, it's literally poisonous.
Yeah. But I got a heart out of it.
Yep.
I died a little bit, but got a heart out of it.
Yep. So yeah, that mod pack seems quite easy in terms of survivability and like maneuverability. And it also has a lot of other like equipment, like relics and stuff that give you other weird movement options. Like for a while I was using boots that make me swim fast, but now I've got a necklace that just makes me basically ignore water entirely. Like the water physics are just turned off for me, so I just walk under the water. I still have to breathe, so it's like I still run out of oxygen, so I have to like walk along the bottom of the sea until my oxygen starts running out, and then get into flight mode so I can fly above the top of the water to get oxygen and then go back down again. Which is kind of weird, but it's much quicker than swimming, even with the upgraded swim speed that those boots were originally giving me. So yeah, we've been doing that. We were somewhat stifled by storage, as is typical, because I think maybe with the way that mod progressed, they didn't give you the storage options quite early enough. Like, well, it's mainly because that one of the mods in that pack also has, like, they're called loot boxes, but it's just crates that spawn everywhere in the world. Well, not everywhere. Like, in any, like, structured area of the world, like villages or whatever, there's just a bunch of crates in there that have stuff in to loot. And that's sort of, Minecraft does that as well, but not as much. And also these loot crates are like player specific, so everyone can loot them.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Which basically means you can start that game and immediately get chests full of shit.
Right.
And we were like, oh god, this storage situation is getting out of hand real fast.
Can you not just pick up the chest?
No, because they're indestructible, because every player can loot them.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because if you could destroy them, then the other people wouldn't be able to loot them afterwards. But even then, you'd still have to, like, the main problem with chest-based storage is sorting it, right? You have to be like, this is the chest which just has food in. This is the chest that has all the enchantment shit in.
Right, yeah.
This is the chest with weapons or whatever. And then when one of those fills up, it's like, do you make a bigger chest or do you make another chest?
Another chest.
Yep, do another chest, mostly. So eventually we finally got to, like, one of the mod packs that gives you essentially digital storage, except it's not quite digital, it's still chest based. It's just you can hide the chest under the floor and just access it for an inventory terminal, basically, where it just looks at the contents of all of those chests, and then you just type in a search bar and get what you want. Much easier. We finally made it to that point. And then the other mod pack that I'm playing by myself is sort of similar in its tech progression thing, but much, much harder. Because it goes even more hardcore. You still have that mod that gives you upgraded health for food, but now all the food sucks, basically. Like, eating a random raw plant gives you basically no hunger.
Oh.
So you spend the first, like, hours of that mod pack basically constantly on the verge of starving, and, like, you can't sprint at all because that drains your hunger bar so quickly. So you're kind of limited on how far you can even travel because you can't sprint to get there quickly, and you don't have the ability to make better food to even survive traveling further.
Right.
Unless you want to scavenge plants all the time, but then eating the plants doesn't give you any food. And it also layers that with another mod that makes it have diminishing returns if you eat the same type of food a lot. So you can't even, like, find the one good food you can make and make 20 of it, because that won't work, because after you've eaten, like, 3 of them, it no longer gives you the same amount of hunger restoration.
Right. Jeez.
But yeah, this other mod pack is, like, same progression idea, but much more hardcore, and has its version of the moving from mod to mod upgrade through the upgrade tree is basically resource density rather than a specific item. Like, at the start, you're barely able to make any, like, metal at all, and you're also using metal incredibly inefficiently, and then as you get the better machines, it's like, now you where I was previously using 1 ingot of metal to make 1 piece of wire, now I'm using 1 ingot of metal to make 2 pieces of wire. So now, basically, it's double as efficient, and that's only the first step. And you can make the ingots more efficiently and all that kind of thing. So it's all about resource processing becoming more efficient, and therefore allowing you to build these things that look way more expensive, but it's actually just because you don't have the resource processing ability.
Level, yeah.
But yeah, it is still a mod pack on some level. Like, there are still weirdly incongruous things where it's
Both
like,
literally and
yes, weirdly incongruous things where it's just like, this mod pack is more, well, it's called Greg Tech, which is funnily
sausage rolls.
I don't know if there is actually a the Greg of Greg Tech. I think there might be, but
God, I haven't had a Greg sausage roll in ages.
Unlike the Bob
Pasty
of
tags.
Bob's mods, who I do in fact know, like, is an actual person.
Not as famous as the Gary of Gary's mod.
No, the Gary of Gary's mod, exactly.
The ultimate in named mod fame,
Legend.
probably.
But yeah, Greg Tech is like, it's more about machines and processing. Like I said, like you're grinding the ores down and you're washing the ores and you're putting them into various different furnaces or whatever. But the mod pack still has has some of the magic mods in it. It's like, this is weird. These don't seem to match very well. Like, I'm going to get a wand at some point and start doing magic shit next to all these, like, steam engines and stuff. I mean, it could work.
Sort of Harry Potter in a weird way.
Well, yeah, but not in an integrated way, really.
Right.
It's those are almost going to be 2 separate systems. But I mean, that's sort of the classic problem of Minecraft mod packs. It's like, realistically, the one we're playing in multiplayer, as I said, there's no real overlap between the mods. It's like, you need a item from mod A in order to start mod B, and that's really the only overlap there is.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, we played a ton of Minecraft. And I played a ton of Minecraft. Both of those things. And we're going to continue to play Minecraft, probably. What I actually need to do is go back into Derg, because the Christmas thing is nearly over and I haven't finished it. Need to get that bonus XP, so I can finally finish Season 5 before Season 6.
Maybe I'll come back to it when 6 starts.
No, you better.
What have you been playing, Rob?
Yeah, what have you?
Bunch of stuff, as it turns out. And
I thought you said you didn't have you don't have a calm game, but you have a bunch of other stuff.
I didn't know. Yeah, well, I didn't really play anything particularly like new. Nothing I would be like really sinking my teeth into. Right. I just had a sort of like, tis the season for me, where I just sort of scattershot a bunch of stuff I like to play.
Right.
Like, we already talked about Connect Party, so that doesn't count. But I played a bit of Balatro just because.
Sure.
I did the speed run.
Oh, right.
On that, finally. That wasn't actually as difficult.
No.
You were right. That was quite easy, actually.
Yeah.
I'm at the point in Balatro where, like, I feel I'm not really progressing, though. Like, the things... I'm not, like... what am I on? Green difficulty or something like that? Not green.
Black,
black.
probably.
Yeah, black. I think I've done black. No, maybe it is black. Anyway, one of the difficult... I'm just having a really hard time, like, getting a good run going for it, and it's like I'm just not really progressing. I've tried the checkerboard. Was it the telescope or whatever it is? The Zodiac deck is the one I was mainlining essentially. But yeah, I'm just not getting anything going with that. So I've started work on the checkerboard one to get that up, the flush deck, essentially, and that's getting there, but I haven't reached the same point. But yeah, I'm finding it harder to progress in Balatro now than I used to. So not quite sure what's going on. Anyway, I did a bit of that. That's my sort of like late night almost.
Yes.
It's like I don't really want to blitz my eyeballs with something right now. I'm just going to sit down and play some cards.
I'm still waiting for that damn patch that's theoretically meant to come out
This year, he
theoretically.
did say it was delayed into 26. So yeah, let's see what happens.
That's the reason I stopped playing Palatros, because there was the theory that the patch might change Blue Stake to have a different debuff, and Blue Stake was where I was at.
Right.
Like all my decks are at Blue Stake now, but I'm just waiting for this patch to come out.
Because I haven't even unlocked the last deck right yet. So because I haven't done an orange stake run.
Right, yeah.
So I haven't got that yet. I don't know what it is.
I don't remember what it is.
No.
I unlocked them so long ago.
Anyway, so yeah, a bit of that. I checked in with Mario Kart World, like, because I kind of because they had that big update, right?
I still never got round to doing that.
Yeah,
I never looked at those tracks that I needed to re-rate.
Well, I didn't go out of my way to play those intermissions, but so I just joined some online lobbies and then kind of remembered why I wasn't really playing Mario Kart World anymore, because it's like equal parts a fun time and a hugely frustrating time, right? Because almost every race I played, I'd be like, yeah, I'm way out in front. Oh, I'm last. Right before
is Mario Kart.
Yeah. Like, I'm way out. Oh, I'm last. When it mattered, like right at the end as well. It's like, son of a bitch. It's a super annoying experience. It's like, I don't want to hang around in the midfield and just hope I get all the shrooms right at the end to just burst to the front and win. It's like, there's problems with Mario Kart, for sure, in just how it plays. I didn't come across any of those new intermissions. I'll have another go at some point. See what it's like.
Notice because I guess it wasn't this patch, but it was probably in a patch after the last time you played. But did you notice that regular tracks were coming up more and less intermissions?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I can't say I noticed.
So it wasn't really a noticeable change then?
No. I think it felt about the same as it always did. Like if I mean, not as it always did, after the first one, right. After the first round where they actually started to discourage the lap tracks, it felt like that state still. I don't think I did a lap track on my time online. I had a particularly shocking run trying to play the what are they called? The tours, knockout tours.
Right.
They really need to add more knockout tours to that game.
I mean, that seemed like the whole point of that map, right? Where you can just draw a line across it from anywhere to anywhere.
I mean, yes, they add more environmental stuff going on during those races than they do on the normal ones. But yeah, boy, that's the fact that there's only 8 of them, something like that. There needs to be way more than that.
I mean, as we speculated at the time before it came out and said at the time, it's like those really should have just been automatically generated at some level. Like adding the extra stuff along the routes, even that could have been
procedurally added. Yeah.
Well, not even necessarily procedurally. Like you could have had 1 or 2 versions of that stretch of road that it picks from at random, and then the ends just link up.
Yeah, something like that. There's plenty they could do with it, but then that they are not doing with it. It's like,
or are they? We'll have to wait for the next match forever.
I mean, presumably they're working on it, but holy crap, it's taking them some time. That game needs some life injected into it, and it's like, yes, that last update was a good update in terms of fixing some incredibly boring stuff. About that game, but that Mario Kart needs way more, I think, to stay relevant. I dipped into Wipeout a bit because why not? I played some of my Mega Collection because I had my PS4 rigged up.
I played some of my Mega Collection too.
I mean, I know I say this every time I play these games, and I played a bit of F-Zero GX, which actually I will talk a bit more about that in a sec because I ran into a few problems with that actually. But I play those. I go back to those games, and I'm just beaming. Right, like there's that inscrutable quality about Wipeout in particular, about how it handles and just how it feels to fly around, that no other game has replicated. No other series has even got flipping close to how Wipeout feels. apart from Ballistic NG, which is pretty close. I'll give them credit. It is pretty close.
Is it good, Ballistic NG?
Yeah, it's a pretty good. Like if you want a PS1 era Wipeout feeling experience, Ballistic NG gets the closest you're gonna get without it being actually Wipeout. It's pretty good.
Can we do a video on that for the series?
Sure. I mean, if we were to carry on with the series, it's quite a long way down the list. But
why?
But,
what's the order of the list?
Well, we were going like order in which I have played them thus far.
Oh God. Okay.
So
in that case, that's way at the bottom.
It's quite a long way down the list.
Sorry, I didn't realise we were doing it in certain order.
I mean, we could skip to it. There's no real hard and fast rule, but
I was just curious about it.
Yeah, I haven't played nearly enough Ballistic NG as I should, really, because I could always go back to Wipeout.
Right.
Yeah, it's a bit I mean, I was playing Wipeout and like some of the I was reminded how some of the stuff in Fury in particular isn't great, right? The zone battle event type is just weird and mostly luck based, to some degree. And the detonator events are kind of cool, but they're perhaps a bit like zone mode. Perhaps they go on a bit too long. Although I did have a lovely self-indulgent moment playing a detonator event to my own track called Detonator, running on Spotify, and I didn't even like tell it to do that. It just came up while I was playing, and I'm like, yeah, all right, that's cool. Available on Spotify now. I don't know. It just puts me in such a good mood playing those games. They're fabulous. My problems with F-Zero GX were a bit more weird though, because I've had this on and off since doing it through Dolphin, in that like I have a control issue with it that I just don't remember being a thing in the original version, which is like, and this is before we get into like advanced cornering techniques of F-Zero GX, stuff of which I'm actually only really just learning about because I never used them, because I was like, I'm not a speedrun, I'm not going to learn this shit, and it's like, yeah, maybe I was wrong. But the simple, one of the techniques is just what they call the slide turn, not the drift, but the slide, which is where you turn into a corner and you press the strafe, the same strafe button, right? So left and left. So you're strafing left whilst turning left. So you turn the corner tighter, right? Basic stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
That for me wasn't working reliably. Like I'd jam left on the stick and press left trigger, and for some reason I'd steer less, not more. And I'm like, this is horrid. Like what? This doesn't feel right at all. There are certain corners I'm just not able to make reliably. And I was pretty good at F-Zero GX back in the day, but I wasn't an absolute, I wasn't brilliant at, the best at it. I wasn't a speedrunner or anything like that, but I could hold my own. And I just don't remember that being a thing. So, messed around with it for ages. I actually made a Reddit post on it because I just couldn't find any information about it and stuff like that. And like, does anyone know what this is? And of course I got the responses being like, get good. And it's like, oh, fuck you, Reddit. So I don't really have a solution to it, apart from the fact that it's kind of gone away on my PC build. Like I went back to it like a few days later, started playing it. I updated Dolphin to 2512, and I now don't encounter that issue on my PC, but I do still encounter that issue on my Steam Deck, specifically when the Steam Deck is docked and I'm using a Bluetooth controller. If I use the Steam Deck in my hands, I don't have the problem. But if I'm using a remote controller, then it feels off. So I don't know what the hell is going on there, but limitation of emulation, I guess. There's something not right.
When you were playing it not on the Steam Deck, was it a wired controller then?
No, it was a Bluetooth controller. It was the one that's sat on my desk in front of you. I was doing it in Bluetooth mode on my PC. There's an Xbox controller. I also discovered why that hasn't worked for us in the past. Apparently using Bluetooth, I didn't realize, but I just assumed this PC has Bluetooth, right? This new build, because all motherboards kind of just have Bluetooth now, right? What I didn't realize is the Bluetooth in it is terrible unless I plug an antenna in.
Okay.
So that was why nothing was working. So I plugged my antenna in, which I thought was a Wi-Fi antenna.
Right.
And that's exactly what it is. But it also is a Bluetooth antenna, which I didn't realize. It's both. Like, everything goes through this thing. So I plugged that thing in and like, oh, this now works beautifully. Okay, great. Cool. Does mean I've got this ugly ass antenna hanging out the back of my PC, but whatever. So I did a bit of that. What else did I play? Blah, 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 blah. Let's try and crack through this. I finished LocoRoco.
Right.
I got
Sweet.
I finished it in the sense that I got through every level.
You got to the end, but not finished completion.
God, I don't want to go back and complete that completionist. That thing, it just got really annoying towards the end. Like some of the, I think everything I said about it before still stands. And that like the physics are both its draw and its irritation. Like it's inconsistent with its physics, and some of the jumps. Like I'm pretty sure I knew where some of the secret areas were, but it's just like I just don't know how you pull that off. Like unless there's a route I didn't find, which is likely. But there were some places where it was like you get these little owl gopher looking things that chew you up and spit you out in a specific shape. And it's like, okay, maybe I need, like, this one spits me out in, like, incredibly long oblong form. I think I need to make it so I'm doing the jump but stood on end so I get enough height out of the jump to then land on this or hook onto this platform. But, like, it's next to impossible to get the locos to, like, actually stand up.
Right,
in that form and then do the jump exactly how you want it because of the way the physics works. Just became infuriating. And the number of levels that ended up having, like, trap death zones towards the back end of the game.
Bottomless pits, classic.
Well, not bottomless pits, but just things that you weren't like you would have a go at, and then there would be just a death zone that you couldn't see because it was slightly off the screen. And the way that, like, getting injured in that game works is really annoying because it's almost like the Yoshi's Island style of Baby Mario flying off, right? Except your hurt locos, like, ping off you, and if you can get near them, you'll reabsorb them, and thus you won't lose the health or lose the targets. But sometimes those just ping off in a way that you can never recover them. And sometimes there were just pits of places where they can just go blah, 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 and it's like, oh god, I spent the time trying to completionist this level, and I get to a freaking trap I didn't know was there at the end of the damn level, and I've lost them all. And it's like, that's super annoying. Anyway, I kind of fell out of it towards the end. Like I wasn't getting the joy from it that you do at the start of the game. And even though the sort of the funky loco you unlock last is pretty cool. He's got such a gravelly voice. It's nice. Yeah, so I never. They did make a sequel to LocoRoco, didn't they? There was a LocoRoco 2, I think, on PSP.
I think so.
So I wonder if they've fixed some of that for this, but I have absolutely no knowledge of that. Or how that went. So maybe that's worth checking out at some point. But hey, I've done it. Like, I'm not going to go back to it anytime soon. What else have we got? Zach and I think we haven't talked about this since we did it, but we actually finished Full Metal Furies.
Well, apart from like one random extra chest or whatever we can find, there's like one item in the world we don't know where it is. And funnily enough, it might be like one of my earliest guns.
Yeah, for the sniper. Yeah, one of the earliest weapons. Like we just missed
because we didn't understand that game very well at the start to know what to look for to find secrets essentially. So therefore, like, the two chests we were missing were in the first world, and we managed to find one of them, but we can't fucking find the second one, because we'd have to play the entire world again, basically. Go through every level to see if there's the really obvious side passages that we missed or whatever.
Yeah. But we did all the riddles. We got to the main boss.
Yeah.
Which was pretty tricky.
Well, yeah, kind of.
It took us quite a while to do it.
Probably not as long as the fake last boss.
Right. Mate, yeah, I don't know. I think it probably did take us longer. Anyway, that game was quite fun. Enjoyed that. Which then opened us up for it's Hyrule Warriors time. So it's stabbing time.
Oh, yeah.
So we've been playing into that, and I don't really know how to start this conversation because I think like the initial impressions have been mostly good, but a bit mixed.
Yeah.
Like mixed in the sense that Zach and I want to go through this co-op, and the game seems to throw a fair amount of hurdles to doing that.
Yes. It now has a UI to tell you that you're going in or out of co-op, which is helpful because in the last game it just kicked you out of co-op every time you had to remember.
Yeah, the implementation of co-op is better.
But then the fact that it does then kick you out of co-op is the problem.
Yeah, so it seems like all but one of the story missions so far have been mandatorily single player, which kind of sucks. Because we want to go through this, and I guess that is to sort of force the scenarios of like the story elements of it. It's like
because you don't have that many characters.
It's because you don't have that many characters, and also like characters end up being like they isolated, right? The way they're telling the story, and so it's like this guy on his own has to take out this thing. So it doesn't even give you the option of cheesing it by having, well, what if there was another guy here just because, you know?
Yeah.
Which the first game. Age of Calamity had no problem with doing. It just always threw another guy in.
Well, I think there was 2 characters that entire game.
Maybe.
Apart from the very start of the very first mission before you get to Pura. Right. Like, that's really the only time where there weren't always more than one character involved.
Yeah, maybe you're right. But it just does that in co-op anyway. Like it just lets you play that regardless, which is fine.
I mean, I am kind of wondering / hoping whether like at a certain point you will be able to go back to those missions to play them
and do them in co-op. Yeah,
co-op. Not that there's any reason to.
No, not yet. But Korok grinding at some point maybe if we've missed Koroks and we find out that there's, because that was a thing you unlocked eventually in Calamity, right? Was like, you can tell what levels you've missed Koroks in. So we might need to go back and do that. But yeah, it'd be nice if we could go back and do that in co-op, which currently you can't. We can't replay those levels in co-op, which is annoying.
Annoying.
It's the elephant in the room. Just get this out of the bed. Performance is so much better than it used to be. Like, it's so much better.
Yeah, even in co-op.
Even in co-op, yeah. The game still runs at 30 FPS or targets as 30 FPS, but it's actually hitting 30 FPS now.
Do you think it's the power of the Switch 2 or a bit of optimization?
A bit of both. I reckon a bit of both. It's because it's not running on the Breath of the Wild or like it's not running on the Zelda engine. It's running on Koei Tecmo's own engine. They've just done a pretty good job of making it look like Zelda.
Very good job.
That's good coming from you. Now you've seen it in action.
Totally looks like Zelda.
Yeah, nice. But yeah, the single player runs at 60 FPS, which is new and nice. And it looks pretty good. Like I don't know if you don't get so much of the like pop up jank. There was quite a lot of pop-up jank in Age of Calamity, even in single player.
We haven't really been in any environments where we'd see that yet.
I guess not.
Like we've been in the depths a bunch where it's all tunnels, and even the bits on the Great Plateau have been like quite narrow paths.
Yeah,
we haven't really had a big wide open field yet.
No, that's true. I mean, I guess my concern is that we're going to see a bit too much of the depths in this game because it's not necessarily. Yeah. It's a problem with Tears of the Kingdom as well, right? Yes. Where the depths just aren't that interesting to look at. No. Like they're quite bland.
And in this game, you kind of want to see the surface because it's like, how's it different?
Yeah.
In the past.
Yeah, exactly. You want to know what's up. Maybe we'll see more of the like facilities in the depths, like not quite so ruined,
right?
Which could be mildly interesting. And they've also cranked through like a lot of the like boss character or like boss enemies you find in the depths. Like,
the frogs.
They've cranked through those real fast, and there's a lot of game left to play. So what was going to happen? I'm not quite sure there, but they'll start doing like variants of them.
Yes,
like
they'll start having the shade infected variant, and then the gold variant or whatever.
Yeah. There's been a lot of story content. That's a lot of cutscenes and things like that. Probably too much.
Well, that doesn't help the first impressions kind of thing when it's a lot of cutscenes happening. But although I am kind of interested in the fact that it seems like we're basically almost most of the way through all the Tears of the Kingdom tears at this point. Like, Sonia's about to get assassinated, and like that's more or less the end of the Tears of the Kingdom story.
Sure. Yeah, we're pretty close to that point. Sonia's never going to be a controllable character.
Yes, which did also make me realise that the fact that Sonia's team attack kind of sucks, but now makes sense, because it's like, oh wait, she's not actually a character.
She's not actually going to be a playable character, yeah, 'cause she's hanging out in backgrounds. And yeah, so there's a bunch of mechanics that's changed this time round. Like, you no longer get the Sheikah abilities.
You do. They're
kinda, but they're different now, and they're now assignable, so you can set up.
Which is one of the problems of that game.
Well, there's more flexibility and thus potentially more mid-fight problems you could have.
Well, the mid-fight problem of having to menu is the actual problem.
Yeah,
which is also made exceptionally bad by co-op.
Right, yeah, because if you have to go into a menu, then it has to pause it for both players.
Which, it doesn't have to. They just made it do that for some reason.
I guess, but you'd be vulnerable if you were sat there looking in your menu.
Sure, but no worse than any other thing that you're doing like that. I mean, the fact that, time slowdowns are still global or whatever, like when one player's doing their super move, time slows down anyway.
Sort of, yeah. There's always been, like, you kind of still move, the other player still kind of moves at full speed.
Well, they move at full speed, but the world
slowed down.
Slows down, yeah. I think the obvious problem with that, changing pausing to go into the menu, is the fact that whichever player hits it, it pops up for both.
Yeah,
it could still pause the game, just don't give you this menu that you'll suddenly be pushing buttons in because you're trying to do something else.
Yeah, you might accidentally thumb something. Yeah, that's true.
That's kind of awkward UI. And then there's also the other weird awkward co-opness of the team attack super moves where two characters combine to do a move. If you do that between two player characters, suddenly one person doesn't exist any longer.
Yeah, one player is in control of the action at that point, which
sometimes depending on the super attack.
Yeah, it depends what it is, but that's fine. I don't mind that at all. I kind of like the and the fact that the characters seem to have differing high five animations is kind of nice. As as the team attacks activate.
I mean, we'll see if that continues to be cool when we get the other characters.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting in the sense that team attacks are now another layer on top of supers and on top of the Zonai devices. So there's like 3 meters now going on.
Although that
on top of your cooldowns, on top of your abilities,
that brings up the actual
which are
problem.
now much longer than they used to be.
Yeah.
So balancing those becomes. I don't think it's a problem necessarily yet, because it's like it feels like it's just another part of a change to the gameplay that we just have to manage a little different.
I'm feeling like it is a problem in that all it really does is just make the fights take even longer than they already do. Well,
they take a long time because we're playing on the hardest difficulty level.
Obviously. Yeah. But I'm wondering whether we might have to just drop it to hard, not for difficulty's sake, but for time's sake.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it's just you have the big enemy and you have to realistically you don't do virtually any damage through regular attacks. You do possibly slightly more damage through regular attacks in this game than you did in Age of Calamity. Possibly.
Maybe. Not sure.
But still negligible amounts of damage.
Admittedly, we're fairly early on powering up characters and stuff,
too.
and that became less of a problem in Calamity.
But you're waiting for the counter move, and then you hit them with the counter move, and then it staggers them, and then you do the break bar and all that stuff. And the fact that the cooldown on your counter move is so long now that you're basically having to... the enemy is doing the thing that you would be able to counter, but you can't counter it because your counter's on cooldown.
Yeah.
Potentially 2 times before your cooldown resets. So really you're just wasting twice as much time just waiting for your cooldown to be able to do anything.
I mean, those counters, they open up the stun bar, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The
break thing.
Yeah. Hexagon of doom. They just make it so that depletes faster, right? Gives you ability to take that out pretty quick. Whereas you can still be depleting that by taking advantage of their post attack.
The post animation stun, but that's so short comparatively. But yeah, it just feels like because the counter and cooldown is so long, it's just going to make everything take fucking forever.
Yeah. And supers still charge through KOs, right? Which is sometimes a problem in those on those boss fights, because you're not really charging a super very quick.
Yes.
Which was another way of exploiting the system, right? So you could put them into the stun state.
Kind of, but the supers only give you like one stun, and the super itself doesn't really contribute to the damage.
No, it doesn't.
The supers are, I mean, even the way that the early ones in this game are designed, they seem to be intentionally designed for clearing up bunches of enemies rather than attacking one target.
I think that's how they were always intended to be used. But yeah, the added advantage was you could use it to put them into an earlier mini stun.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll have to see if like maybe once we start leveling people up and improving weapons and whatnot, maybe we'll start like out leveling the difficulty curve or whatever, and it will become less of a trouble. But at the moment, I'm starting to feel like it's taking so goddamn long to kill one enemy. It's like, do we need to drop it down a difficulty level, just not because we're dying, but because it's just going to take forever?
No. Well, except for the last mission we attempted, right, where I got myself into...
You attempted because it was a solo
Because it was a solo level, but I got myself into a bit of an unwinnable situation.
Well, that's also because they've changed how you heal, also.
Yeah.
Well, sort of.
It's a limited pool of items. Well, that was
kind
of the same.
Limited before, but not in the same way.
Yeah, you could still find items on the battlefield that would heal you if your stash of that item was full, right?
Yes.
But that doesn't seem to exist now.
And there also doesn't seem to be any environmental way to heal, like hot springs or... Because we thought it was going to be base camps, but that's only in lower difficulties, judging...
Correct, yeah. There's a bit of text. It's annoying that it doesn't tell you exactly what the changes are between difficulty levels, but there's a new thing now where in levels you make a base camp, and in theory visiting that can restock your supplies, except I'm not sure on very hard I don't think that did anything.
Yeah, I don't think you get any of them.
Like there's a way of getting like turning a buff on, isn't there, like by supplying the camps.
Yes.
Like so if you which is what the food
very hard, I guess.
System used to be in the first game.
Yeah.
So you can still do that, but yeah, I don't think we're gaining health, I don't think our supplies are restocking, I don't think anything is happening in very hard, which is a weird choice, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you should have taken it down to one ration restock, basically, on very hard. To give you a thing.
So it can restock one, but then I guess you could, like, go it. Well, yeah, depending on what they would need to have added maybe a camp cooldown or something, so to stop you from, like, just going, burn that one, go back into the camp, burn that one. Yeah. But something would have been nice. Otherwise, I'm not sure what the point in it particularly is.
Yes, I mean, I'm sure it is very much nicer in lower levels.
Yeah.
Low difficulty levels.
Yeah, maybe you're right. We'll have another toy with it a little later on and see how we feel about the difficulty levels. But, I mean, I've got no beef with the spectacle. The spectacle's there. It looks good. As I say, it runs nice. I haven't got a bomb tank, but, you know...
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone, surely one of Minero's things is going, I mean, the Guardian thing is already kind of that, but not really a tank.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see something. I mean, some of the moves are already quite wild, especially Minero's moveset. They're pretty fun. And that's just all I want from these games, really. I want absolutely batshit crazy movesets. So let's see where that goes.
But surely no other character is going to be comparatively as crazy as Mineru can be.
I mean, we don't know. Maybe they'll introduce some weird stuff, like
apart from maybe the
we got
fake Link construct.
I mean, we got Mad Monk Maz, right?
Sure.
Or whatever his name was in the last game. So
I guess the fake Link construct is just going to fight like Link, as was evidenced by that little teaser mission we had with him.
Mm. What about Mini Korok? What's he going to do?
Yes, what is the Korok's fighting style going to be?
Mini Korok, yeah. Is Hestu going to come back in some way? Or
I mean, it'll probably turn out that Korok
Hestu never died. Like, yeah, it's just always, it's just Hestu's been there forever.
Oh, I think it's more likely that Korok's going to turn out to be the Great Deku Tree, though.
Oh, interesting.
Because that would make more sense chronologically.
Yeah. It's anyway, yeah. It's more of the same. It's just a bit more solid on the technical side,
but with some weird choices on the gameplay side so far.
Yeah.
Because we also haven't really understood the new weapon crafting system either.
No, that's different as well. Because you're not like just merging weapons together. You just have a weapon and you shove some steel on it or something, and like there's a slot system, so you unlock upgrade slots, and then depending on what steel you shove into the weapon, the those slots then get filled with the
which is
capabilities
basically
of that
how
steel.
it worked with the weapons before.
But because you had multiple weapons, it's like there wasn't so much of a... I don't know. At the moment, it feels like, should I be doing this? It's like, well, there'll be a way to clean it down, but I don't necessarily want to clean it down and waste those slots. I want to put good stuff in it.
Because the way you used the weapons previously was like you'd build a weapon for what you wanted at the time, and maybe if you wanted... And you could build like multiple weapons for the same character that did different things.
I mean, I'd be surprised if we don't unlock something like that, like some sort of like number of preset slots or something.
Yeah.
But I'll be surprised if that doesn't come. There's just no... I mean, this is part of the fun of this game, like, or part of the fun, at least, of what we had of playing the first game, was just like, you didn't know any of this stuff was coming or how it was going to work. It was just like, it doesn't really warn you about it, and suddenly like, now you can do this. And you're like, oh, all right. And it's like it's that again here, but the systems are different. So it's
well, they're different, but also similar enough that we are like
confused,
trying to figure it out ahead of time.
Yeah. Perhaps it should have been more wild, more different again.
But then
somehow.
it wouldn't be one of the Muso games that they're all the same.
It's kind of, you know, yeah. As we've noted in like by playing Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, which I think is more the Muso
the more
template,
classical.
Age of Calamity did break that mold a bit, and for the better. Anyway,
and is this game going to have story implications that are real this time? Because it's not an alternate history story this time.
No,
as much
it's
as
canon.
A whole time paradox is an alternate history anyway. But
it's actually like canon this time, right?
So once we get through the Tears of the Kingdom Tears memory period, we will be into fully unknown, actual new theoretical real lore.
Which is cool.
We'll have the hot info about what the next Zelda game will be, except presumably it's not going to be in this universe.
No, I think this is the last. This might be the last thing they do in this. This dimension. However you want to categorize Zeldas these days. Yeah, that's that. But that's not all, folks.
No.
Because the thing I put the most time into, I think, over the holiday is it's about that time, chaps. Start of the year. Rob needs to play an RGG game.
No, right.
So
Gotta get through at least one of those a year.
yeah.
So start at the start of the year.
So I've started playing the next one chronologically that they made after Yakuza 6, which is Fist of the North Star.
Because it's not a Yakuza game.
It's not a Yakuza game. Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise.
How much more familiar are you with Fist of the North Star than Yakuza when you started Yakuza?
Not at all. So I know basically nothing about Fist of the North Star, or other than I know that the Japanese title translates to like the Big Dipper.
Right. I guess
which
that makes sense,
right? It's it'll be like whatever the word is, Japanese word for Big Dipper, Gagatoku. It's like a dragon again. This game it's basically a Yakuza game.
Oh yeah, obviously.
It is basically a Yakuza game. It has all the same framework, all the same
what about the
trappings.
Side bullshit though, because it's funny in the 80s Tokyo to have this Yakuza guy go around and do slot cards and shit. But then what about anime protagonists doing side shit?
Yeah, so that's really interesting, and I think like because I've been thinking about that primarily, like while I've been playing this, and it doesn't work so well in a universe where anime nonsense is common, right? So I think I need to do some backgrounding here. If you're not familiar with Fist of the North Star, it is essentially Mad Max, but if martial artists were like the world's badasses, right? If it was
more so.
Yeah. So everyone fears the martial artist, and there are like competing forms of a bit like Naruto in a way. There's like competing forms of martial art, like schools of thought. And Kenshiro, your guy, who by the way is played by the same guy that played Kiryu.
I mean,
so it's the same voice.
Just protagonist voice.
Kenshiro is just Kiryu, which I find hilarious. Yeah, he's from the school of Hokuto Shinken, who's special ability, like the whole thing about it is like channeling the chi within of your opponents. Not necessarily your chi. You do stuff, you hit channeling points on their body, and shit happens to them.
Normally they explode.
Yes. That is the primary reason, is you hit them in a certain spot and they for some reason explode, which makes, like, in a bloody mess, which makes this immediately way more violent than any of the Yakuza games.
Yeah.
And they sort of swell and like glob around.
It's very anime.
Yeah, it's very anime. A bit Akira-ish, like in some ways. It's mental. But also, like, in the case of Kenshiro and Hokuto Shinken, it's just kind of a superpower to do anything. Like, he just, like, you got a stomachache? Bzz. No, you don't.
Right.
You're blind? Bzz. No, you're not.
But only because he's so good at it.
Yeah, he's the master of it, right? Like, or... There are other students of Hokuto Shinken who know different parts of it compared to you, right? So there's an excuse to have some training missions.
Skill trees.
Yeah. There's even one bit where he like just walks up behind a guard while he's breaking out of prison in the early game and just goes, Bzz. Now you don't remember shit.
Okay, that one's maybe a bit weirder.
It's just filled with moments like that. It's like it's nonsense. It's like it's horseshit. But that also like leads into your point exactly, right? When this nonsense happens, because the world is already set up to be like nonsense can happen, it doesn't carry the same weight that it does when the nonsense happens in a Yakuza game, right? The realistic grounding of a Yakuza game makes the slapstick and the crazy punch-ups and the bonkers stuff feel that much more mental and funny and appealing. Like here, it's just like, yeah, whatever, that just happened.
Sure, but I was also talking about the side shit. Like, what about slot cars and stuff? Does that even function?
So one thing that is new is there's a sort of open world. Like, sort of. You can go to the wasteland and drive a buggy around. So it's like...
Do some Mad Maxing.
Yeah, do some Mad Maxing, basically. There hasn't been a whole lot to do out there, but there are races you can find, like, and just do in that environment.
Makes sense, I guess.
So there's buggy racing game. It wouldn't... I don't think it would be an RGG game if there wasn't a hostess minigame, because, boy, one of those is here.
Okay.
You're managing a nightclub again. And to their credit, they have taken the hostess game from the Yakuza games I've played, and they have changed it again. So it's kind of the same thing that was going on in Yakuza 0 and Kiwami. But the mechanics are subtly different enough that it's interesting. They do what they do, right? They change just enough to keep it interesting. And they've done that again here. I don't know if there's a bartending minigame that's pretty basic, but has probably the best stirring animation you will ever see in a video game. It's so good. Like the game itself is just like rotating the right stick enough. Like it's a Mario Party, basically. Sure. Mario Party 1 hand shredder. But then you get such a beautiful animation of him getting like increasingly fast at stirring, and he pulls the stirrer out, and the drink goes everywhere in dramatic fashion, and then he puts it down in front of the customer, and in big letters on the bottom of the screen it says, "You are already drunk."
Classic.
It's the best. Oh man. And then you get to a fight, and it's Yakuza. Like, the fighting is pretty much okay. Even the fighting, like they've actually changed just enough to make it interesting. Like you've got your punches and kicks and blah 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 blah, but now there's this thing where if you hit them enough, they go into a stunned state, and when they're in they call it meridian shock. And when they're in this meridian shock, you can you have a button dedicated to hitting a channeling point, and when they do that, they then go into this. Maybe that's meridian shock. I don't know. I get a bit confused. They go into a more shocked state. And when they're in that, that's when you activate effectively the heat actions, right, from the Yakuza games. You can do that then, and then you get a nice flashy animation of punching someone and they explode.
Right.
With a quick time event thrown in as well for good measure. So if you want to do the 100 fist thing, where his voice suddenly goes from Kiryu to super high pitched. Which is hilarious in itself. There's one of those for that. but also then it becomes like an extra nuance to that. So if you time your channeling, you're hitting the channel point just right, the person will just die. Like, you don't have to go through that sequence of trying to do the things.
This is
like,
the sequence, the whole point.
Yeah, I know, it's weird, and then that comes later in the game. Like, you've been doing this sequence for ages, and then there becomes a way to sidestep it, which is kind of useful, I suppose. But
saves you some time.
Saves some time, yeah. But then on top of that, if you do that, there's this thing called the death cry, I think, or is it death shout or something like that system, which can have some. Like, if you kill someone like that, a big speech bubble will appear above their heads, like sometimes saying "shitballs." Not even joking. That's one of them. But the whole shitballs, or just fuck. And the whole point is, like, when you do that, like there's a collection of them. Like, you've got to build up like the death cries. Like, it's like your Pokedex almost of like what people shout when you kill them in this particular way. But then they could drop a healing item, like when you do it that way as well, which is obviously incredibly useful. Or a boost to your 7-star gauge, which is this game's version of the heat gauge. Or sometimes the words themselves will appear above their head and then fall out into the world for you to pick up and use as a weapon. Which is so weird, but like, so I'm just mashing people around the head with a giant like 3D model of the word shitballs. Like,
oh my god.
It's out there, man. But it's
it sounds it.
I'm having a good time with it. I don't tell. Even though I don't think that like it hangs together as well as the Yakuza games. I think the pacing is off. The game has only really started opening up to me at like chapter 5 and 6, but the chapters so far have been a lot shorter than a traditional Yakuza chapter would be. Right. So I don't know what that means in terms of this game's length. I thought it was like, I started playing it, I thought, oh, maybe this is going to be a shorter, tighter experience. But now I'm getting into the sort of like, no, this is opening up into everything that a Yakuza game is. I'm not sure. Like, I think because of where it was made in the timeline, right? So this was made around after Yakuza 6. So this would have been before they made Kiwami 2, I think, but after they made Kiwami 1. I think this inherits a lot more from Kiwami 1.
Right.
Than it does from that in terms of the engine they use, because I don't think it's using Dragon Engine. I think it's using their engine that they were using beforehand. But that also means that it has some of the problems that Kiwami 1 has with especially with its boss encounters, right? The boss encounters in Kiwami 1 can be some bullshit. Like in terms of them just being ridiculous difficulty spikes. I could be beating up goons that are the same level as me with absolutely no problem, and then get into a boss fight that is designated the same level as me and have an incredibly hard time. Basically just because they have mechanics that you don't. Like, they can like super shield some attacks. They have counters they can do while you're in mid-flow. Even if you're hitting a guy, sometimes they can just be like, no, I'm breaking out of this, and hit you. They'll have really large area of effect attacks that are hard to dodge. Like, the boss combat is difficult. Sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a, no, that's just a bullshit mechanic kind of way. And it's, and this was a problem in Kiwami 1. And so I think they hadn't really improved it here. They've taken from that rather than perhaps the slightly refined experience that we have in Yakuza 6 and Kiwami 2. So that so far has been a problem. That's been my major gripe with this, has been that, more than anything else. Aside from the like slightly tonal weirdness of this world. But I'm having a pretty good time. Expect to hear more about it in the coming weeks. I've managed to play a fair chunk during the holiday, when not being super ill. So it's got me hooked.
A different flavour of
yeah, it's interesting in that regard for sure. But it's like it's also like Kenshiro just isn't as charming as Kiryu. Like he's
right, yeah.
He's very straight laced. Like,
I see.
In fact, the whole game is played. The whole world, I think, of Fist of the North Star feels like it's, despite all this stuff happening, like all the characters in it are quite straight.
Right.
apart from the fact that I think I'm like, I don't know if this is, man, I don't know how the economy in this game is supposed to work, but it feels like I'm jipping it at the moment, because fairly early in the game, like, I got this, there's this another layer of mechanic called Destiny Talismans, which you can call upon during a fight, which like, they're like these special things that have cooldowns that in between fights, right? You can't just use them every fight. But one of them you get pretty early on is Nugget, the mysterious chicken that I can summon in the middle of a fight, and I just gain a bunch of cash. Like, it doesn't actually affect the fight. It just gives me a bunch of cash. And I think I'm breaking like how I'm supposed to be progressing in terms of money, because I've got loads of money right now.
Oh, okay.
Just because I keep calling Nugget in whenever I can. In
Just break out the Nugget.
It just goes, Bugger! You get a bunch of cash. It's
not fucking Norse power.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was intended. Like, there's definitely like it knew that I had played Kiwami, because I'd played Kiwami 1 on PlayStation 4, right?
It looked at your save file.
So it saw that, and I don't know if
so
I don't know if Nugget like was added because I've got previous. Some of the Yakuza games do this. There's there's usually a clown guy in Kamurocho you can talk to, and it just gives you a bunch of stuff, and I'm not quite sure what that's based on, and sometimes that feels cheaty, going to talk to that guy, to the point where like in pretty much all of those games, the dialogue for that guy is even, don't use it, don't feel bad about using it, it's all good. Like, I don't know if it's like them admitting like, oh shit, we balanced this wrong, what do we do? Just give him a bunch of stuff. Like, but there's one of those guys like outside your hideout in this game as well, where I can just speak to that guy and get a bunch of stuff,
but not the chicken.
No, I don't know where Nugget. I can't remember where Nugget came from. Like, it might have been the first time I spoke to that guy because he was just hanging out in front of my house. So,
you didn't know what he did,
but I didn't have a choice. It just gave me Nugget.
Right, sure.
There's still a bunch of stuff I haven't claimed off that guy as well. So maybe I should, just to get rid of the difficulty spikes on the boss fights. I don't know.
Maybe.
Anyway, that's Fist of the North Star. A nice unexpected addition to the RGG lineup. I'd kind of forgotten they'd made this thing. Like, I think when I spoke about this like most of last year, and it's like, oh shit, they did do that.
Oh yeah. Fisting the North Star. Oh, Polaris.
It's very convenient that he gets injured in such a way early in the game, so he has the scars on his chest are obviously in the shape of a Big Dipper as well.
Okay.
Totally coincidentally.
Conveniently. Oh. Right, well, I think that's a podcast for the start of the year. Thank you for listening. And we have a YouTube channel, so you should check that out, because we're playing, we're doing a Let's Play, aren't we? What are we doing?
Skies of Arcadia.
Legends. Yes, the GameCube version. Apparently, we lined up with an anniversary accidentally, which we tend to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 25 years of the original Skies of Arcadia, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we clearly have to get through this, because 2006, right? You know what came out that year?
No.
No.
Okay.
Oh, wait, yes I do. Yes I do. Of course I do. Of course I do.
NHL?
No.
I don't know.
It's
no, that was 2002. Sorry.
It tends to be referred to by the year.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes,
There's
okay.
one of them, yes.
Well, if you look at our YouTube channel, listeners, you'll be viewers in that case. You can see what particular game series that we particularly enjoy, and you can probably put the two and two together there of what we'll probably be doing this year. So look forward to that, and look at all the previous games in that series.
Although in
Skies of Arcadia.
In fairness, mild spoiler discussion to this whole thing. We've been dodging around it. Sonic 06. There is a recomp we should probably do of that, right? That's the version we should play.
If that is the viable version for us to make a video of, then we'll do that, obviously, not the original version.
There's like a community fixed version, which would be interesting to look at.
Fixed, but that's no fun.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean the game's going to be good.
Yes.
No, that's true.
It's mainly going to just reduce the amount of loading.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, fair.
Oh, yeah, I actually don't know how we would run the original copy on PC anyway. Like, whether it's Happy and Xenia.
I guess. Yeah, we haven't thought that far ahead.
No. Have to figure that out. Maybe if I get my modded Xbox with an HDMI port and then a capture card.
We've still got plenty of Skies of Arcade to get through first anyway. So.
Yeah, it's going to take flipping ages.
Okay, next podcast in 2 weeks. Catch you then. Bye.